loud and proud. Looking like a jet ski. Got the glasses on, got his family, got his team. Cheer him on, Team Hansen. It is the one, the only, Rudy Hansen.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
You wanted a blank slate.
It's just starting over.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, we're live. Big D's already in the chat. He's like, I'm in here, bitches. If Sarah isn't here, I'm out. So
No way. I'll pull it. What's up, guys?
yeah, Loco Cereal. What's up? What's up, guys? And we are here for another. I think it's episode 34. I'm starting to lose track, but it's a good one. It's a good day. It sounds like you guys are hanging out in snow though, which is a little concerning. I'm a little worried about that. I thought we were done with that, but you know,
yeah,
weather's gonna weather, right?
No, just had a good powder day skiing 2 days ago.
Wow.
No, it's still going.
That's right.
Jealous.
Well, we'll talk about your location a bit because I'm very curious to hear about Idaho of all places. It's like I know nothing about it, so it'll be interesting, maybe, or maybe it won't be.
I always
we'll see.
knew that you were, Nate. You know.
Yeah.
Everybody loves
Yeah,
they love it though. Like everybody comes here and they're just like they're infatuated with it. Like everybody comes to Salt Lake and like it's the most beautiful race of them all. The mountains are pretty. It's pretty chill. There's not a lot going on usually.
I
mean, it'd be a good place to hide, that's for sure. But
like if you murder somebody, it's a good place to move to.
Yeah.
Yeah, not saying that you should.
Killers are found up here, northern Idaho,
or unfound.
It's safe here. I'm like, well, this is where serial killers come to hide. So,
all right, duly noted.
They got our back,
right? Yeah, but
and Alaska, right?
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. But hey, you guys got good enough internet over there to be on the show, so I appreciate you guys making the time to jump on here. We also got the lovely Herbie and Sara. What's going on with you, Sara? Sounds like everything's peachy over with you, right?
Yeah, it's a little windy here, so the power's been out twice already. But other than that, we're hanging in there, doing what we gotta do, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm sure the show won't lose anything if you leave, so it's all good.
Oh,
there we got backup dancers. We're fine.
Yeah, right. No,
she recorded it earlier, her dancing. So
yeah, exactly. We'll just throw the clip on, and everyone will be happy. It's all good.
You did a little dance before? Nice.
Herbie, you made it to Thursday. I'm proud of you.
One day at a time, buddy.
There you go. Good job.
One day at a time.
Oh, man. But I am happy to have our guests here. We got Rudy and Chellee Hansen in here.
Hi.
And it's the first, it's the first couple, husband, wife, whatever you want to call it in Formula Drift. There has to be. I mean, I mean, it has to be. There's no other.
In the U.S.
Well, I think who did it?
Taka
did it.
And Yoshi
did
Japan.
it.
Really?
Japan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when. If you guys did all your research, you would have found that out, right? But you didn't.
Well,
I'm saying America.
Formula Drift. Yeah,
America. Okay.
In the U.S., but then you do have like Manoa and their family.
Right.
Yeah. But FD Japan. But yeah, speaking on the States, so you guys number one.
Yeah. No, but it's cool because I remember talking to Rudy about this. I think it was Utah, and your goal was to get her in here, and like that was the whole thing, and now it's happened. You know.
I know.
She is, like it took both of us, obviously, right? But like she is she has put like all the effort in. She didn't just like show up and drive. She's worked her butt off every single day. She's been like, just like she wakes up, breathing it, and goes to bed, sleeping about it. I mean, it's first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So it definitely hasn't come easy for us, but yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was our goal, and it was the first year I competed in Pro-Am, and
yeah,
I was really shocked that I was able to make it happen. But especially with my little car, and
but I've heard through the grapevine that people are not shocked that you made it through, though.
Oh.
So
no, like it's gonna be not even the running joke. Everybody's like, "Oh, your wife's driving better than you." She outqualified me last weekend.
So I did beat up last weekend.
She outqualified me.
Last weekend was really good. I came in fourth, but I was having a lot of power issues with my car. I think I would have done a lot better if I didn't have issues with
old
that.
fuel.
Yeah,
old
like
fuel.
my car was really slow.
Yep.
So I learned from that, but sometimes you got to just go with what you have and, hope for the best and
100%.
make the best out of it. So,
yeah. Well, I'm excited to get into all that because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year for you guys. And I think Rudy's semi having a sigh of relief because I assume you're not going to be doing pro spec this year.
Right.
No way.
I remember I talked to you, Utah, and you're like, dude, it's killing me. It's it's a tall task, especially like if you're in both like top seating brackets and stuff. Like there's no break, there's nothing. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
we'll still be like that, but
he's not the one behind the wheel.
Different drivers.
No, there's no relax. It's way easier, in my opinion, to mechanic than it is to drive. Kind of just even though it's stressful when you're mechanicking, I don't feel like it's anything like driving.
Right.
Like,
well, true. I mean, and you're putting it on the line, and
all eyes are definitely on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I see. I think that's where we differ, though. Like I don't feel like that's a hard. I mean, it is hard, the pressure. I think when you're, especially with FT, because you're driving all the way across the country. So I guess I haven't. I mean, I have experienced that because we went to Oklahoma for me last year in North Dakota. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. For me, that doesn't really.
She handles it a lot different, though. I think she's a little less. She like when we go out for the beginning of the day, she wants to lead. I want to chase, and she goes out and she has this little. I'm more like stressed out about the whole weekend, trying to make sure that you get through seating bracket, and she's just like, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'm having a great time. And then I do worse, and so it's just like you do got to have that mentality of it is what it is, and then maybe and it's funner and easier, right?
Right.
But that's just naturally.
I think it's because you're the crew chief and you carry all that stress of getting there, having everything there. Because like we have separate jobs to make this all happen. So it happens because, I mean, as much as I feel like I do everything, there are jobs that I don't do that he handles mostly, and that's just so we get it all done faster and it happens. Because if you're trying to do an event every weekend, pretty much, I mean, we might get one weekend off.
Wow.
Then it has to kind of work like that because we have 3 businesses as well and kids and everything. So I think he carries a lot of that stress and then trying to switch your brain, because that takes a lot of power to have your brain working one way and then switching it to the other. So I feel like Rudy, honestly, like he's destined for crew chief greatness. I've always said this.
Right.
He's like the best crew chief because he's so good at like giving people tasks and like managing people and like jobs and like having everything ready. Like he's so good at that. And so I'm really excited to really come in and be a driver and have him and really see him like show everybody his crew chiefing skills, because he's very talented at that.
That's cool.
That's so great.
I mean,
I feel like you guys are each other's like biggest cheerleader, which is so awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love talking smack to the boys.
Oh my god,
so much fun. Oh,
he does.
I do. I talk so much smack.
Are you spotting for her? I'm just curious.
No, Rome's gonna be spotting for me.
No,
okay,
I'm gonna because I want to be down in the pits.
Yeah.
I want to be down in the pits, mechanicking and being her.
Yeah.
Chris will be the crew chief, but we'll just kind of tag team it together. I'll kind of be the roaming crew chief. He'll be the on-car crew chief, so
Yeah, yeah.
it'll be.
I'll be
it'll good.
spotting for him though.
Okay, gotcha.
I need to have her. She's the one. And Rome wouldn't. Rome would be a little busy for me anyway, but she spotted for me
True.
for so long that we have a good like communication skill.
I know the line. I can help him with the line. It's just a matter of getting him in the headspace that he needs to be in. That seems to be the challenge. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
And she has
consistency.
She has a really good coach behind her. That is, it's funny because drifting
Yeah.
is this sport that there's no real background training into it. It's more like learn it from the seat of your pants, and then if you're lucky, you know,
Yeah.
a Pro 1 driver who will sit down and like more than teach you something, but like walk you through something. And a lot of them, you know, you just don't get that opportunity. And she's got a really good person behind her that's kind of that's taking her from backing her up to step one and teaching her all the steps, and so she can communicate a lot better than anybody that I've been around. So I'm excited to have her.
Yeah. Plus she drives, so she understands what in the car you're doing or have to do to get to certain points too.
And I just drove right before he will be, so I'll have like really a lot of insights on the track and everything too. So which is what I know will really, I know that Rudy's driving is gonna be a lot better this year, because with me being able to drive the track, I'll be able to kind of explain to him, you know,
how she's feeling,
how to drive it, because I definitely excel in that area,
100%.
and he excels more in like the chasing, and so he's really good at yelling at me to be more aggressive. That's usually what he ends up just helping me with.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is like, obviously you guys are a team and whatnot to support each other's programs, but is the real reason, let's be honest here, that Rudy's not driving pro spec is because he's scared to go up against you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like,
we know it.
Yeah.
you know?
I actually went to the last event and I told him, I says, I know this is going to be rigged if you guys line us up together right from the beginning. they pretty much, I feel like they do.
Yeah.
Like the crowd loves it.
The crowd loves it, but honestly,
Rudy doesn't.
I mean, it's good and bad. It's like going up against your best friend, like obviously, right? But like you don't want to go up against your best friend or your teammate in the 32. You want to go against your teammate in the finals,
right?
Then nobody cares who won, right? You're both in the finals or in the top, you know.
Yeah, it's like
of course.
Top 32
Yeah,
or something.
it does suck when you're in the top 32 and you have to go against your buddy. So that's
and
the
if you
feeling.
wreck both cars, then it really sucks.
Yeah, we're wrecking both cars.
It's usually why we don't drive together, because we don't want practice together. But now we practice together a lot.
Now I'm on the radio. I'm like, hit them. Like if you want to win, you better hit them. Yeah. And I don't really want her to hit them. I want her to just like not care what happens.
Yeah, don't be afraid of getting as close as you can.
Yeah, and if you hit him, you hit him, right? So like, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking to Alaska a couple shows ago, and he was like, if you think about the bad things that can happen, they're gonna happen. So you just got to do it. You know, it's like you're right, and it's getting past that fear of driving close to people and whatnot. So I'm just. Before we get into FD, though, and get more into that conversation, kind of like, obviously, you guys are from Idaho. Like I said, it's cool you guys got internet, but what in the world, where did you see drifting? Because I assume, you know, like,
Vegas.
I mean, did you guys at least have, like, fuel-injected engines by now over there? Or, like, what's the plan?
That's why they got the old LSs.
Everybody that knows drifting does it on their Razor in the mountains, right?
Right.
But what funny, like, I mean, let's fast forward this story just a minute to, like, a funny story. So we go to Drift Week, and we come back from Drift Week, and everybody, I kind of use the story about how all the people that know drifting, they know it with their Razors. Well, we get back from Drift Week, and I have Luke Fink's car because my Corvette burned to the ground. So I've got this like more of a shit box, but it was still a nice car, right? And so I get home and I'm like, I'm going. So I actually got home. I drove it home. Right when I got home, I drifted it up the gravel driveway, and right then it was like, oh my god, game on. And so like that whole spring, I would just go and I was just drifting this on all the gravel roads everywhere. I just went up in the mountains. I'm just like bouncing it and jumping it and like drifting it all over, like. So honestly, that's kind of what people do in our town. If you're drifting, you're in a Razor. So yeah, we say drifting and people still don't even know what it is. There's only been one event in our town that we helped put on for drifting. But Chellee can tell you the story of where we saw drifting originally.
Okay, so we were at SEMA and his dad was racing in the Optima challenge, and so
yeah,
we were watching him, and then there was all this smoke and the sound of our people, because Rudy at that point, was doing shitties and burnouts all the time.
I had a Chevelle, and I was just doing big burnouts, kind of like dreaming of like Aussie style burnouts, just
really
like big burnouts.
Chevelle,
But it was kind of getting boring at that point. There was no control in it. It was just like big old set on the line lock, set on limiter. Like after about 10 or 20 of those, you're like, okay, this is pretty boring.
Right? Yeah. No, it's true.
So we went over there, and then of course Rudy's like, by the time I get over there, he's like in a car waving at me. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
on a ride along already.
Yeah,
that's so Rudy. And then I think you had to find pants even. Like,
I was in flip flops. I was in shorts. I didn't have a helmet. I had to go borrow shoes from a random person. I had to go borrow a suit from a random person. A helmet. The helmet was so hard to get. Nobody wanted to give up their helmet, as we all know, right?
Right.
So I had to get all these things to go on a ride along, and then I got a ride along in a turbo LS.
See, that's why he's the crew chief. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He just like makes stuff happen. I'm like, he's like waving, and he's got all this on. I'm like,
race suit
I'm like getting a wristband. I'm like, what?
Next thing you see another dude hanging on the fence upside down because.
Oh gosh! Like one time we were in Moab. I'm like, where did my husband go? And he's like waving at me on mashed potatoes, like going up in somebody's like truck, like waving out the window. I'm like, what?
She didn't know where I was. She didn't know what. She was on the sidelines, and I found some random dude. So I'm like, I want to go up mashed potatoes in your truck. And I'm pretty much drunk in the back of his truck, and she's on the sidelines, and I'm in the back waving at her, and she's like,
I'm like, oh, is that my husband?
And actually, my mom and dad were there, and they were camped in a whole nother thing, and they're like, that's our kid in the back of that truck. So I didn't know this guy on at least some random
normal activity with Rudy back then.
Wow.
But yeah, so then he was like, oh, we're doing this.
Before I remember sitting in the car, and I looked up at her, and I'm like, I go, this is it. I'm gonna do this. I will do this. And before I got out of the car, I looked up at her. I'm like, I had goosebumps. I'm like, this was the shit. I think he created a
Facebook account that day.
The same day?
Yeah.
5 days later, I had a drift car.
I probably had to help him with that. But
holy smokes.
Oh yeah.
I was on it. I'm drifting, and I had done everything, but in the past car sports, but none of it filled my soul. Like holding a car on limiter, blowing smoke, in control, like doing like a course, like like that was like, okay, let's do this.
Oh, and then we went to FD Seattle, and we get there and we're walking around the pits, and he looks at me.
First event ever.
Yeah, and he looks at me and he goes, "We're gonna do this," and I'm like, look at it, like we do, like
this is our
we
first.
Can't afford this. Like,
this is our first. Crazy? We bought a car in like June. And then we went to the next event, and so when Seattle was August, like 3 weeks later, and I'm like, I'm doing this.
He's like, and see, the thing about Rudy, if he says he's gonna do something, it's like a 99.9% chance it's gonna happen. So like I think that was the one time I was like, yeah, right. So like, right. Like, and now I'm doing it. Like, what?
Yeah, he did say we're doing this, so I mean, he did include you too from the get-go.
Well, we've always done every sport together, so I mean, it's really not
surprising.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I've never I didn't grow up with motorsports, but I definitely grew up a long gravel road and drifting the whole way there. In the mountains. I grew up in Colorado in the mountains. So
okay. So how long have you two actually known each other to then? You guys pretty much seem like it's just 1-to-1. You guys are meant for each other, honestly.
We are meant for each other.
We were born I met her in Grand Targhee, and I lived in Idaho.
Yeah, in Idaho.
And we were born in the same hospital in Colorado.
Yes.
On the same day.
On the
same day, Sunday. 7 years apart.
Not same birthday.
Yeah, no, but
I just found this
Sunday.
out. On the same day of the week, which is weird.
Yeah. So we were in the same hospital,
if we
though.
The same doctor. We should look.
But it was kind of wild.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
And and we both grew up in different towns, but we were both born in the exact same hospital of the whole world. And we met skiing on the chairlift. He was
Nice.
probably stalking me in line, and
He was reading the hospital manifest. He's like, so Sunday.
it's like, well, there's one girl. I better ride the chair with her.
Right. That's
No,
Like,
she was the
I
one
would-
girl that was there every
I'd
single morning.
ski by myself all the time.
Yeah, she was there all
Nice.
doing it in line, first chair skiing from beginning to end. I'm like, all right, this is
Were
it.
you a ski I can't
Bum?
even yeah.
Instructor, I think you
Yeah,
meant
ski
to ask.
instructor was really what I was looking
No,
for.
I was
No,
a
he just started skiing.
No,
You
I'd
were a
only skied for like a
snowboarder.
year or two, and I was a ski bum. So like I'd come from Pocatello, which was like 3 hours away, and I bought a $300 cab over camper, threw it on my truck, and I had 2 little girls with my ex-wife, and I would come there on my week off, and I was work seasonal, so I would just spend a whole week there and in my cab over camper, camping in the parking lot, and then so every other week I was there for the whole summer or the
I
whole
didn't
winter.
realize that too for a minute, because like we
Wow.
were just friends. We were like, we just see each other skiing, and then I would ski with him and his friends sometimes, and we were just kind of friends in the winter. And then we started dating
Nice.
In about 4 years of
after
skiing,
being friends. Yeah,
skiing
just in the winter.
Yeah,
I never saw him in the summer, just in the winter.
They're just ski
I'm like,
bums.
oh, where's this person live?
Right. That's funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's just heading back to the camper in the parking lot.
Well, everybody came to the camper. We kind of partied.
Yeah,
at
the
camper.
chalet. We called it the chalet.
Everybody had hot cocoa or shot skis or just ski,
Yeah.
or just because it was like a ski lodge, but it was cheap for
Yeah.
all the ski bums. So we had
Yeah.
alcohol there, and you can
Nice.
just chill, and barbecue, and
Yeah.
hang out. So
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And look at you guys now. That's the cool part. I think
And we've
you've
been very pretentious.
increased the price of your sport now though. It's a little bit
Yeah.
more expensive.
oh my god.
I know.
Oh
we
my
just have to
gosh.
work more. I
It's
guess.
like it's funny because I'll
Hmm.
talk to my ski buddies and I'm like, actually, and they're usually mountain bike friends. I'm like, okay, this is like going mountain biking for the weekend, and when you're done with your carbon fiber mountain bike, you throw it in the ditch and you drive home and buy a new one
They're like,
every weekend. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you throw it in the ditch and you go buy a new one every weekend.
it's hard to swallow that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took us a minute. Like I think with tires, you have to just like put it in a budget. It's like a budget, and then
Yeah.
it makes it like way more feasible to go in your brain that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, to explain it like that is messed up. But yeah, it's the truth.
I mean,
Yeah,
It is.
I mean, essentially, you're just taking money from one hand, putting it in the tire hand, and it's just like you could light either one on fire, and it's almost the same way. At least you're gonna have fun with the one hand, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's
For sure.
true. But I mean, obviously, you guys got to handle twice the tires that everyone else does. So
Well,
Uh.
yeah, a lot of scrubs.
A lot of scrubs. I
Mm-mm.
can't even get a tire. I can't even get a tire manufacturer to say that they'll sell me tires right now.
Yeah.
So if
Really?
anybody's watching, they're like, it's like a tire ordeal right now. So honestly, I will be at Long Beach. I have 8 tires left over from last season. So if you're chasing me, do note that I will be on scrubs
yeah,
the whole weekend, and I'll have 8 tires for battles and whatever I got.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of where we're at with the season, right, starting out. So
wow.
it's kind of a weird situation knowing that you don't have any, like everybody has tires already allotted for their other teams at this point. So we'll see. They said
Right.
after that maybe we'll figure something. They said we'll figure it out. I'm like, okay.
oh,
I got
Yeah.
tires
man.
in the garage. Good thing I collected scrubs for the last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know last year, I can't remember which company, but I know there was an issue last year with tires last year.
There
Yeah.
always is. And that's what they
Yeah.
told me. There always is. And usually after round 1 we'll have more tires, plenty of tires. I'm like, why can't we have it figured out before then?
Right.
But
Yeah, what's the difference?
That's a little stressful.
yeah, it's a little stressful, but I mean, like, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
we made it happen on a shoestring budget. I have really good scrubs that I've saved for good reason.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
interesting.
This year's a little harder because it's like last year. Last year was really tough though because it was our first year doing pro, and then he was doing both, and then I was doing pro-am, so that was like quite a bit because we had that whole extra budget of traveling, and I had to travel, 2 days to go to any pro-am event near me. So it was like quite a bit last year. So we did kind of really overspend, like not overspend, but like overextended usually what we're used to spending. And then so like actually even this year it will be less money. That's why it was a really big goal to get into FD, because we're already there, and for me to drive would make sense. And I am a little terrified because I don't know if I'm like really ready to be like that good of a driver.
She's ready, but she just hasn't driven the car. So like
Yeah.
we're kind of short a motor, and we're short wiring harness for one car. So
Gotcha.
she's only driven like her soon to be car.
I've driven
two times.
Your car really just once at E-Town, but the rack was going out, so that was quite terrifying.
Fun.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the car you were driving in Pro-Am last season and the car you'll be driving in FD this season?
Like double horsepower.
Everything.
That's okay though, because like I do train on the sim a lot with my coach Olaf Eriksson.
Yeah.
And I drive all the like VDC cars, and I feel really confident. Even when I in my head, to me, like I've driven his car a handful of times, but not like enough to say I've like driven it, like not in a comp setting. Like I said, the last time I really drove it, it had a rack going out, so it was quite terrifying. But like still, to me, it's like an easier tool, like a better tool. Like I'm ready for it. Like my car's slow, I'm like freaking like, let's go, let's kick it. I'm like, come on, man, let's make 440. So I don't know. I feel like it won't. I feel like it will be a little bit of an adjustment just to feel out the car.
Sure.
She just needs to know when she gets it how much throttle it'll do what, right? But everything on the car works 100% better. Like I'm going to jump in here. Like you asked the question, what's the difference between her car? Her practice car makes 440. A stock
it's a little heavier, so it's going to rotate slower. Different.
Stock differential.
I mean, I was driving this weekend and I was like yawning with one hand. I'm like, come on. I'm like used to be driving DC cars now, so I feel like I'm really honestly ready for that. And one thing that I am very good at is adjusting to different things. Like I can get in different cars and feel them and adjust them. I'm almost better at that than like say Rudy's really good to get in a new car and be like, this is wrong. This is weird. This is this. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what's wrong. Like kind of like I say a little bit.
I'm just going to drive through it.
Like I just like make it work for me. So in a way, like I'm not, I mean, of course it's going to be not the optimal situation, but also I'm not like that nervous or
I wouldn't be worried about it. Yeah. No,
especially after you said too, I didn't realize you have Olaf on your side, and he's
Olaf's my coach. Yeah,
that's a big.
I went from like, I went from like top 10 and like qualifying top 5, top 10, and finishing top 15, top 20 or whatever, top 10 to like winning trophies when I started with him. And it hasn't quite even been a year since I've been working with him. So he really just like, he's a really good coach. Like
she qualified second at the last event next to
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
With my slow car.
With her slow car.
Yeah. It was cool. Like he's just taught me a lot, and the way he teaches me is really interesting. Like he's just so good at like he'll be teaching me C, and then we'll go through A, B, and then I'll be like, because like C won't really make sense to me, but then we'll go through A and B, and then I'm like, oh, now C is starting to make sense.
Yeah.
So like he's just it's really cool because the way that he works with me is just like, I just, like Rudy said, I never learned the basics of drifting until really I started working with him, and it was just like, oh, like there's just these simple things you have to learn to kind of understand how to get to see, So
and he's worked with a lot of like pro people. I think he works with Osbo and Olsen and them. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
He's helped a lot of drivers. And I really like the thing about Olaf is what his passion is really to like help the sport, because we do have issues like with drivers not, for example, I'll give you a really good example. So for me, I'm not somebody who has a series like right by my house, right?
Yeah.
So I got to go to all these other series across the state or all the way across the country, and like everybody has such different, like we have our FD rules and like kind of the understanding of, you know, what everybody's kind of judging, but every series is so different. Like when I was doing pro-am at all these different series, oh yeah, we probably need to turn the lights on because it's starting to get dark here.
Yeah.
I was noticing like, okay, like you really have to kind of go with what the judges are doing. That's how you know, it's not your driving style. That doesn't really matter. It's what matters is just driving how the judges want to see you drive, right?
Right.
So like you have to ask all these questions, and it's just very vague, you know, like I'll go to one event and they want to see, you know, they'd rather see, here's the thing, they'd rather see two cars, you know, at the same angle, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But like could be a farther apart, right? So what's better? Is this better or is this better? Right.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
it could be completely, just something simple like that could be completely different at each event.
Totally.
Or
And
the
so-
level of driving could be completely different too. That's the
Mhm.
other thing. We were talking
Yeah.
to Corey Talaska. He lives over in Wisconsin, and he's like, he said it's really hard for him to practice Formula Drift level driving outside of Formula Drift because he's so far away from like that level of driving. Like there's
Yeah,
just
and
not a
the
lot of people
judging.
around him to
Mhm.
to drive like that with. So, I mean, obviously you
that's
guys did a bunch of competitions, but like, yeah,
Now I get to drive with her. Before I would
Yeah.
go to the races and I'd be like, we're not driving together because I don't want to wreck the cars. Now there's nobody I want to drive with besides her. I'm like, yeah, I'm honestly, I'm like, she is that much better than I feel like maybe one or two people typically, right? But like,
yeah,
but I know her well enough. We don't wreck anymore. Before we would hit each other
yeah,
a fairly good like wreck every weekend, which would like
right,
is a little frustrating. I'd rather her
Right.
just go hit somebody else and only have to fix her car.
right.
Now I know she drives. Now she is so consistent. I'm like, let's go, girl. Like you're leading, and she'll lead these perfect laps, and I know I can set it right on her. Right.
Yeah, but that's
every
the
time.
problem, Rudy, is that I'm always be leading. Now we have to fight over that.
Right.
But,
No,
He's
the,
like
the real question is, can he keep up when she gets the new car? That's the real
Right.
question.
Oh boy, look out!
Oh,
right?
I'm so excited, you guys.
And
Yeah.
how are you supposed to ask her to be better at chasing if you don't let her chase?
I let her out plenty of laps. this
I'm just happy. I don't
Yeah.
it was that way for years in the past, but now we switch off all the time. She doesn't. She's just like the boys now. She's like, no, 1 for 1, yo, 1 for 1.
Ice
Paul-
drifting, he actually gave me a lot of leads. That was
Yeah.
nice of you.
There was days I let her for hours. We went
Right.
we have ice drifting in our town. Yes, it happens in Idaho, right? So an hour from here, we culminated ice drifting in our town. Like I was just watching
Nice.
everybody do it. They were doing it in Minnesota, and I'm like, we're living here where there's snow everywhere. Why are we not
Gotta
ice
be
drifting?
Yeah,
Right.
gotta be a way to do it.
So like Valters had been ice drifting,
Mhm.
and he's like, I asked him all about it, and I'm like about a day later, I found tires online, and I ordered up tires, and they're coming in the mail, and he's like, I told him, he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know yet. I'm like, there's ice here, don't worry. And he's like, oh, dude, you got to get a lake to get on, you got to do this, you got to do this. I'm like, I'll have that all figured out, don't you worry. He's like, it's not that easy. And I'm like, shut up, like, get out of here. So like we sent out
It
all
wasn't
all
easy.
my buddies and birds, and I found out like some lakes have like
Thermal activity.
thermal activity, so you don't want to be on
'Cause
those.
we're by Yellowstone, so
Yep.
there's a lot of geothermal stuff.
So-
like hot springs.
So everybody kind of found like multiple lakes, and her ex-husband works for the Forest Service, so we communicated with him
Wow.
about where to go, and we all went to a lake, and before we knew it, we found a lake that you could get right onto, and we've been shredding that lake.
I don't have an ex-husband.
Ex-wife,
I don't have an ex-wife. either.
ex-boyfriend that worked for the Forest Service, and he's just like hooked us up. He's like,
Oh my
don't go to
God.
this one, don't go to that one, you can go to this one. But
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. We
That's
love it.
really
It's not
cool
an
though.
hour.
Like, and obviously you guys ended up going to Sweden this winter as well, right?
Yeah.
How
Sick.
like,
It's off.
dude,
Yeah, he invited
how
us
was
out.
that? I want to hear about that. That
Me
that
too.
Oh my
sounds
God, it was
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, it was so cool. Like, I think that's what my favorite part about drifting is all the connections that you make across the world. I mean, even Osbo invited us out to come out to ice drift with him, you know? So
Yeah.
like you don't really like that. To me, that's the way to travel. I like that, you know, like being able to really like go somewhere and hang out with your friends and really get that local feel and like have a mission. That's the way I like to
Right.
travel. So
Yeah.
so when he called me and he was like, "Hey, can you be here Thursday?" It was like Tuesday. I'm like, benefit of working for yourself. You can kind of make that happen if you want to.
Wow.
And if you have a credit card, that helps as well. But yeah, so just
cool.
made it happen. I mean, he was like, all you got to do is pay for fuel. And I was really excited to actually meet him in person because at that point I hadn't met him. And
Just pen pals.
and really getting back to what we were talking about earlier, like he really wants to make a difference and help with the judging. And like, who wants to do that? You know, like there is this need of like, everybody, there's all this drama surrounding it, right? And I was like talking to him about it. I'm like, yeah, with all these different series, like no wonder, because people are coming in to FD no thinking this is how we judge stuff because they only compete locally, right?
True.
So it's like you have all these like, then they have their family and friends, and then they get a weird call, and then they're like, oh, all this drama with that series and the family and friends, and it's just like, and I think that's because we just are lacking like definitions.
Well, I would
like,
also argue that FD changes the rules a lot, very often.
Yeah.
on,
And
like,
that's okay, but like we need like definitions, and there's just like some things to figure out. And I think to have a human that's like, hey, I want to like help with this, who's very knowledgeable in drifting. So it's like, I really hope that he, gets his, gets seen. And that's kind of what he's doing, is by working with these drivers to get, hey, I'm actually know what I'm doing. Like, look, I can teach this person how to drive. Like, why can't, then obviously I can be a good help with the judging and we can get this sorted. So it's really cool because I was able to visit him and meet him in person and go to Sweden and like, became even better friends and like really, really want to be a good, work with him and really like, come into FD and do the best that I can. Yeah. And also just ask the right questions so that we can help these lower series that are behind us to help them, because they're looking at FD like, hey, like, how do we judge these Pro-Am events? And it's like, okay, so like everything that FD does trickles down, right? So like, and that grassroots is so important. So I just want to, I don't know, maybe that's what Olaf and I are here for, is to help with that. So
Interesting.
Okay.
Like,
that's great.
Yeah, so kind of like, what's like a itinerary over in Sweden? Like, how does it all work out when you're driving?
When we went, for ice drifting?
Yeah.
Like 5 airplanes, like 24 hours of travel to get there.
24 hours.
It was wild, dude. And then
forever.
Yeah, it was a whole day because we had to drive to Salt Lake from here, which is 3 hours drive. Then we got on an airplane and drove and flew from here to New York, and then New York to Copenhagen, and then Copenhagen to Stockholm, and then Stockholm to Latvia, which is Latvia.
But in the middle of that, we had a detour to Norway and then back because
we missed one flight.
We didn't miss a flight; our flights were delayed.
Yeah.
So
wow.
24 hours.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Wow.
But it was definitely awesome when you land there. Like, the food's better, the people are so kind.
Yes, it was awesome. It was like alpenglow most of the day.
But it's
like the sun comes up for like 2 or 3 hours, like,
Wow.
and then it goes back down. It just comes up a little bit and goes back down.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
there's northern lights and reindeer, and just like, it kind of felt like here in the sense of how much snow and like that kind of mountain town vibe, because he lives outside of town. But what was really funny is that I had a snowsuit from their town, and they were all wearing snowsuits from my town, which is from Idaho, and I was wearing all these, and I was wearing their brand from their town. So that was really funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Small world.
Yeah, it really
the highest level of ski shoot she had from their town.
Yeah,
and we have the highest level of ski suits that were
so
manufactured in an hour from our town, where they all wore theirs. So
Wow.
it was really
That's
funny.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah. So were you guys just like having a lot of fun driving, or were you trying to like get better with techniques and stuff too, or is like?
Oh, it was all about. I mean,
His cars were ripping, dude.
yeah,
They were.
it was
fast.
both, right? Like
Yeah.
he's very he's very. Chellee can explain it more because that's why she can take. That's why she gets more direction because she can actually soak it up better. Guys don't listen, girls can listen.
Mhm.
Well, that's why he works
Listen
with.
to her as
That's
she's
why he
nodding her
works
head.
with.
Mhm.
That's why he works with me because he's like,
But
girls listen.
girls listen, right? No, but like he'll come in and he's just like very nonchalant about. He'll ride with you and like he didn't give me any direction for like a day and a half, and then like he's kind of soaking it all in with what you need to do, right? So we drove. I obviously she's getting directions first because she's the golden child.
Right.
Whatever.
But
we're
but
just good friends.
no, they get to talk and they communicate a lot better and a lot more. And I'm building the cars a little bit more too. And but like he's doing it with both of us, right? But like it's a little bit of at the beginning, a little bit of guidance and direction, riding with us, and then the guidance and direction, and then kind of leaving us on our own
fun
for a
too.
day. For what's that?
And having fun. Too.
Yeah, for a day and a half of like, okay, a half a day's worth of driving, then some guidance and direction, and then applying it for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
And like we were so lucky to have him. Like all he wants is the cost of the fuel. We arrive to his house, we get a hang. We're staying at his house. We get to drive his cars. All we have to do is help mechanic. He takes us out there. He plows the track all day. Like there's nowhere in the world that like anybody can get that unless you're either paying for it
Right.
or just really know the person, right? It was so cool. His track was like 2 minutes from the house, and he plowed it before we got there. He'd been working on it a bunch, and like if you've watched our Instagram videos, you'll see his little plow thingy that he made up, and like he just nerds out on building. Like in Sweden, everything is like built and then built again, and then built better, and then built better, and then built better. Here in America, we kind of build it and we're like, all right, that's good enough. It'll work. Let's just move on. Right. He's like, he loves like making it better. And so he kind of nerds out on stuff like that. But it was really cool to like see their relationship grow and get better and like see how they did it over there. And then like see the way he wrapped his head around drifting too, and bring some stuff back home to our house. His cars were amazing though. He'd worked with, the highest level drivers in the world. They'd give him his ideas, and so his cars they flat out ripped. So that was really cool to drive his cars. And
Yeah, they had the big studs on them too, right? Not the.
Yeah.
The tubes.
Yeah. Oh, but he does it on a budget. He had tires that were so old they were cracked and didn't hold air, and he was putting tubes into them.
Me, some of them.
They were old, 10, 12 years old. But they were the same tires that we typically run here. We run the Pirelli tires, and we get them imported from Canada, and they're expensive. They're like $500-600, but they rip. Like they're super cool. It made us come home and we're like, okay, we got to do this to our car and make it faster here and lighter here and gut this.
By the time we woke up, we got the cars ready, and literally, like, you don't even have to drive. You just drive. You don't have to trailer. You just drive from his house or from the shop to the lake because everybody there has a village, and a village is really like a neighborhood here. But they all have kind of a lake, and then they having a track on the lake is very normal. Like versus here, people would never drive out on the ice, like ever.
Right.
And like everyone's ice fishing. So there, nobody's like really ice fishing or anything.
Right.
It's they're all snowmobiling or out there driving with their kids, teaching them how to drive on the ice and stuff. So it's very normal to see an ice track in Sweden on every lake.
Interesting. Yeah.
Neat.
I mean, obviously, like up there, rally driving's also really big, so I'm sure they do a lot of testing with that kind of stuff and get better with that. But that's really cool.
Like autocross / like road racing, everybody's doing it out on the lakes. I would say every town is about 5 to 15 miles apart, and everyone has a little lake there because we were in the northern part where it's more mountainy, right? So there's tons of lakes there, and every single lake had a local guy that had a passion for cars and was out there plowing it. But here in Idaho, everybody's opposite. They're like, ice fishing only. They're like very. It's not like Minnesota where there's like people on the lakes all the time because it's cold all the time. So it was such a different vibe. When we come back here, people were getting upset that we were out there ice fishing. They're actually calling the Forest Service and showing them videos of what these assholes were doing out on the lake. And they're like,
it was like 60-40%.
And then, but not, a handful. But they're like, yeah, we know they're there. We know who they are. There's nothing you can do
It's
about
totally
it.
legal,
It is
so-
legal. Have a nice day. You're
Yeah.
barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's
You
cool.
realize that there's snowmobiles that do this stuff all day long, guys. Just like go bother somebody else.
Well, it's probably because of your car because it's so loud. It's like
yeah, it's a
kind of a
VQ.
loud
It's a
noise.
kind of a
Oh, you got the trumpets.
I'm like, that's probably why. But a lot of them are like, hey, every time you come by, I get bites on my pole. So
yeah.
That's
like,
funny.
it was like,
It rattles them up and makes them try to go up to the top.
well, the thing is this lake really doesn't have good fishing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's the thing. It's usually people that don't know that get mad, and all the people that are chill, they're like, yeah, it's never been that good of fishing here. So they're like, it's kind of because I try to offer everybody rides, you know.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Friends and stuff.
As
'Cause
soon as
everyone-
someone gets in that passenger seat, I've seen it time and time again. It
Yeah.
totally changes their perspective of what drifting really is.
AKA
It doesn't-
Rudy.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, actually, this boy was there when we were just there last, and his grandpa owned that lake and originally, and he used to water ski on it and piss everybody off. It's not very big. It's just the
Yeah.
right size, but enough to like make everybody mad if they're fishing and you were out there
Yeah.
water skiing for sure. But like he owned it, so he didn't care. But it's funny because he's a freestyle dirt biker, and he's like, oh, I'm doing this. Like, what car do I get and everything?
Oh,
So
wow.
I expect to see him out there on the ice with us, and it's really cool because he lives just right down the road. So now we
Yeah.
can just park our cars there, and we don't have to haul them back and forth and
Yeah.
teach him some stuff. And now we got a whole nother kid that's going to be out there. Maybe he'll be the next pro out of Idaho. I could see it. I mean, he's already there on
Yeah.
doing a triple on a dirt bike already,
Yeah.
backflip. So
Wow.
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
his mom's like, yes, if you wanted to stop doing freestyle and start
Yeah.
drifting, but
You
he's
want to
like,
sit
"My
in a
mom-"
seat? Yeah. Would
he's
you
like,
rather
my
sit?
mom actually is okay with it. I was like, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's much safer.
Yeah, and then my son's out there with us too, so they
Okay,
see
cool.
that, you know, and his friends and stuff. So it's like
Heck yeah.
perfect for them to learn.
That's so
So,
cool.
So yeah. So back to Sweden. So like we sun's up at like 8 o'clock. It still
Yeah.
doesn't come over the mountains
It's like
till
alpenglow.
yeah, it's like alpenglow for like
Mhm.
3 hours. So
Wow.
like it really doesn't feel like the sun
Like
ever
11.
rises ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 9 o'clock we'll usually go out there. I'll go out there and do like some maintenance for the morning, till about 10:30 ish. Come back to the house, have some breakfast. We leave at 11, head out to the lake and drive till 3, and at about 2:30 or 3. What was it? Maybe
or
it's 3
4.
3:30. The sun is set. No, the sun's setting at 3:30. It's done. So
Wow.
it's done pretty early because the sun really only comes over the mountains. Like it looks like an inch over the
But that
mountains.
was in
yeah.
June. That was in
So
June.
there's not
Or,
much.
Yeah, January.
There's not much sun there whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like 6 o'clock, the northern lights or so kind of kick in, and you can go check that out. And it's really chill, but it's there's a lot of time just sitting.
Then we
in-
were just working on the cars.
Yeah,
all
work a
night
lot
long.
of working on the cars.
Like literally, we drove as. I
What's
feel
like,
we-
is the
I
maintenance different for ice drifting than it would be regular drifting or not really?
Well,
Yeah.
yes and no. Hold
Okay.
on, I'm the maintenance guy. On the G35, our G35s, we do very little maintenance. Those things, they do real well, but they have ankle kits on them, and I would say they're less modified than his cars.
Mhm.
His cars were more like a standard drift car, so therefore I felt like there was a fair amount of maintenance going on because of that. Because let's just say different rear end or a different
Yeah.
subframe or different angle kits or different arms. Ours were so much more. Ours are quite a bit more stock with the angle kit on them, and obviously we all know that the stronger the car is, the longer it drives without having to tighten up bolts.
Yep.
So for our G35s, I'll do the whole I'll do 3 events, and I don't even do bolt checks on the stupid thing.
Right.
Like we'll just go out there and shred for. We'll
I
leave them
mean,
on the trailer when we
yeah.
come home, and I'll just take them back out to the lake and we'll go shred. But at his house, we were definitely repairing this and fixing that and repairing this and fixing that and
And then you have to take into account that a lot of times, depending on the ice and the temperatures, you have to let the cars melt. So, like, in order to really get in there and work on them, because sometimes there's just so much ice and snow and stuff that you can't even see if there's a problem.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen
Interesting.
times where like ice builds up on, like you go out for a run, you got ice build up on the front wheels, and then it's on the brake, and then
It's
you
just
go to
a
pull
big,
away, and they're just
yeah,
stuck. It's like,
Yep.
all right,
yeah,
Or even coming home for the weekend, though, you can't work on them for hours.
yeah,
Like you'll come
Yeah.
home, like we were lucky, so we came back home from Sweden. And we arrived at home, and we looked at our forecast, and it was negative. So we're like, all right, it's game on. So we were like in high gear to get our stuff going, and got our cars going. But when we would come back home, like you'd get home at like 5 or 6, we couldn't work on them for 2.5, 3 hours because everything's just so iced up. You'd still kind of beat the ice out of there, but it was just like same with Olaf's. That's why we would typically do maintenance the next morning. We would come home, we'd let them thaw for the evening, and then the next morning we'd go out and do maintenance in the morning because you couldn't get underneath of them. But
yeah. It's so cool. Like everything from how they heat their homes and their shop to like everything's so different.
we'll get thermals from the ground to run water throughout the whole house. So like 600 feet wells, and pull hot water from the earth, and then pump it throughout their house or their shops to heat everything. Whereas
Wow.
we're not
So
doing it
yeah.
that way here.
It's just that ambient temperature pumping through, just
Mhm.
using a natural. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't get like
Wow.
a chill or a drafts, you know.
Yeah.
That's
and,
nice.
and like their houses are built so different. Everything is so. There's like 3 colors you can paint your house,
Gray, yellow, and red.
and it's like literally going into IKEA everywhere. Like everything, you're just like everything's IKEA kind of vibe.
But it's also like a Hallmark postcard. You look
Right.
out, you walk outside, and everything
Yeah.
is just like real picturesque.
It is, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's really
And
cool.
there's reindeer.
That's a really cool experience. Like, I bet, and I'm curious to see, like, what's the driving like going to be this year for you? Because, obviously the number one most important thing is just getting laps, and it's like obviously you guys did a bunch of that last year, but just driving different cars and different setups, and it all is going to help in the end. And it kind of brings me into this season to where like what's the prep that you are obviously like the car is not quite done yet and you're still figuring out things, but like take me through like what's a checklist in prep for a 2-car team in FD look like?
Oh my goodness! Right now, just get a motor and a wiring harness, and
we might be sharing a car.
We might be sharing cars.
He's gonna be driving my car for FD for sure.
I'm gonna drive my old car in
We're
Long
not
Beach.
gonna take the new car.
I won't have it done in time. We have the wiring guy flying out on tomorrow.
Wow.
So unfortunately, we won't have the new car at Long Beach, which is neither here nor there.
We weren't going to anyway.
We weren't pushing for it anyway. I know the other car; it's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly just excited for that because I know the car. But like, I don't feel like there's a whole lot difference in the checklist because it's just like just take the one checklist and put it over to the other car, right?
Right.
But we've been pushing for that from the minute we knew she was going to get her license, to getting this bigger trailer, and earlier
building
in the
the
season,
cars the same.
building the cars the same, getting the hauler to move the vehicles around. We've definitely had the bigger steps in place since the middle of last season, before we even really knew that she had her license, knowing that
Right.
I don't want to rush into having to buy a trailer and have to like pay a ton more money. We got a smoking deal on our trailer. We
Right.
paid less than 40 grand for a two-car stacker. That's
Wow.
a really, really nice trailer. So like we've kind of made the right steps to not put ourselves in a upside down, I guess, into our coming into our season. But
Yeah. That's really cool.
I feel like we're going to try some different stuff on our suspension this season. So I'm really excited to see where that brings us and see if we can get the car to work a little bit better.
Yeah.
I really need to just our team really needs to wrap our head around like doing stuff with less people, because our budget is, I wouldn't say less, but we found that less is better. And so that's kind of one of our new goals for this next coming up season is less is better. And it's less stressful. We found that when we had 6 people there, it was kind of more like yelling for everybody to do stuff, and just instead of the 2 or 3 people that knew what they needed to do, and it was heads down, and we just did it and didn't even have to talk about it. Like everybody just was already there, knew their position, knew what to do, and we just it happened and everybody just went their ways and did their thing, and it was better. So
Well, and we've
Yeah.
had Chris all winter too. So
yeah, we've been
our
really
head
lucky.
mechanic, he ended up just staying with us all winter, which has been life changing
Wow.
because
Yeah.
Rudy and I actually have a life now. And before it was like, really I couldn't even do like work out and really drive the sim because I was just getting work to make money, and then we would go to the shop and we would work till like 9 or 10 p.m. every day. Every day it was like that. And so now it's like I have Chris, I can get up, I can work out, I can drive the sim, and then I can make money and then help him if he needs help. So it's like it's nice. It made a big difference in like just being able to take care of yourself a little bit more than just, really. Sometimes you just have those years where you're just really pushing and it's hard, but it's really hard to be sustainable, to make it sustainable, because you burn out, if you're not taking care of yourself. So
Well, yeah, Rudy, you want to talk a little bit about last year and kind of the toll it took on you to run both series.
and mine and
Yeah.
Pro-Am.
I think it was the
Pro-Am
combo.
series.
The combo, like she kind of touched on it a little bit before. Like it was, we were. There were 3 events last season that we would leave. So like simple. If let's like kind of fast forward into
Have
this
the
season.
trailer ready.
We would the week before we were supposed to be leaving to Formula Drift on a Tuesday, and we would actually load the trailer the Tuesday before, and then on that Thursday we would end up driving through the night because I had to work on Wednesday. We would drive through the night, arrive to the event for her on Friday, wake up and unload, drive Friday, drive Saturday, pack up immediately after the event, drive through the night Saturday, drive through the night Saturday,
Sunday.
Saturday night,
Sunday.
and then all day Sunday, and then sleep a couple hours, arrive home on either Sunday night or Monday, depending on what it was. I would work Monday, and then we would load back up, and we would already be loaded. We would take the truck and the open car trailer, put it in the garage with her stuff, walk down to the pro car trailer, load all of us into the pro car trailer after I had to work that day so I could like organize my company, drive, and then at that time drive to FD, and it was exhausting. And I think we had 3 events that were that way, and it was a ton, to say the least. So that's why we really, like she said, we pushed for it. But I mean, touching back on Chris, like we couldn't have done it without him. He's been like, he just wants to see us do well, and like is really in it to win it. Like he loves the sport. I think he's been given a great opportunity to do something that he has a huge passion for, and build cars the way he wants to. And I put him in, like, kind of, not say put him in charge of it 100%, but let him do it the way he wants to. And I think he's been real happy doing that, and it's made it so I can make a little more money at work, and like she said, focus on driving the sim more. So I've been able to actually drive the sim this winter. And Chris is building an amazing car. You'll see it in Atlanta, and we kind of copied what Casey Cole did on his car, made it a little simpler, and his cars I was really impressed with, and like even Kevin said how awesome their cars were. So I went over there, took some notes, and I'm excited to have the car out there. It should be a lot lighter and a lot more simple, and it should work a lot better. So
wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, are you gonna? I guess it depends on what tire you're running, but is the goal to run? I mean, that car, you're gonna run that one in Pro Spec, the new one.
Nope, I'm gonna run she's gonna take the old Pro Spec car, because we kind of have really good settings for that car for Pro Spec.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna drive the new that other car in Pro.
We'll see. Who knows?
Who knows?
True.
Who knows? Every day it changes a little bit, right?
I might like that car. He might like the other car.
Like musical chairs.
Either one can be driven in Pro Spec.
Yeah.
They're gonna be
both will be legal in Pro Spec.
So
cool.
Which is smart, because if one car breaks, we can drive
do whatever.
I can drive it.
And I may have to run the 255s in Pro, and then if that's the case, the car's built pretty light. We're really kind of shooting for that option too, is to building a small tire car also. So we've kind of left our options open in a lot of aspects there. We've got the pedal box in it and a stock column, so both cars can go both ways. We built this new car super light, so that it can run the 255s if we really just can't get
Yeah.
the 295s on the car either. And if I decide to like it that way too. So
Heck yeah.
there's a few definitely left them open in case somebody wrecked one of the cars. We can jump back into it and make it
Smart.
work for both of us.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
Do you-
wreck,
We'll be driving whatever car's working.
exactly.
A
Well, I was gonna
smart game
say,
plan.
speaking of wrecks, dude, Long Beach was one of the worst ones I've seen in a minute,
Yeah, that was a rough one. I felt pretty bad about that.
Yep.
dude.
That was
Then that-
wild because it was right after Ben wrecked too, and like
Yeah.
Literally,
I
it was
all
back to
emotional
back.
from Ben, and his family was all right in front of me, and it was just like a lot. And then Rudy friggin' comes through. That was like it was a lot. It was a hard one.
Yeah. It actually, my shoulder's been sore ever since I've been going to physical therapy, trying to get it to feel better. Like it goes numb when I lay on that side still. So
Wow.
Yeah, he
So-
goes twice a week about
Okay,
from
yeah.
that wreck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
also an old man, you know. He's,
Yeah, but that shifted the trajectory of your season. I would have to imagine quite a bit from that point on because you were in both prospect pro. You're doing so much, you know, with Chellee too, and like just running around, running your businesses and things like
Well, it just
that.
puts
and
you on the
really
back foot because now you're trying to fix
Yeah.
everything and
Oh,
trying.
not
to,
having the time, and you know, like you said, thankfully for Chris, he did help with that tremendously. But it's not like even after the first round, it's not like you could just go out and be like, unless you know we're buku rich, but I don't think any of us unfortunately are in here. But you can't just like stop, pick up a new chassis, drop everything else in there right then and there, and you know it's like it takes
Oh,
planning,
no.
budgeting, and things like that. Yeah,
no,
Yeah.
we have this like guru artist frame guy who's like old school down the road.
straighten the frame out
Like
for us.
they don't make these people anymore. Like there's nobody out there because they just like consider cars totaled so easily now that
yeah.
there's not these guys. They're like a lost art, you know. Like he's gonna retire pretty soon, and this guy is a G, dude. You drop your car off to him, and it's like it was like better than it was
It
before.
came back. Honestly, it drove straighter and better than when we dropped it off. He's like, did you know that the other corners were off? And I'm like, that's not surprising.
Yeah, you wrecked that car a lot. He's wrecked a lot.
You wrecked it a lot, so it was funny.
That's why I'm just hopefully gonna drive it, and then I don't feel so bad about
no.
True.
because I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna probably wreck it.
So yeah, I mean, like it did put us on a back foot. Like we didn't have money to redo the wrap. We patched it up a little bit, but like I think we repaired one corner of the wrap, but the rest of it, the door was the same the whole season. Like it was about 20,000 that it took out for that wreck alone,
wow.
which is really hard to swallow when you put a brand new wrap onto it and all those things that you
To
put
be
through.
fair, I feel like that's pretty cheap for how bad it looked. Like,
It did look
Yeah,
pretty
like
bad.
you said, you have that guy that you're you know that could
Oh.
fix that. Whereas like probably like a couple other dudes would have just not even have known a guy and it would have said this thing's screwed. I
yeah,
have
the
a
chassis
tin
would have been
can now."
done, and they're just like, you know
yeah,
what?
it's-
It just
Kevin counted it out. He honestly did. He's like,
Yeah.
"You're bringing a new." He texted me. He's like, "You're bringing a new chassis to Atlanta." I go, "No, I don't have money nor time to do a new chassis." He's like, "That thing's
blew my
done."
mind.
And I go, "I have a guy that will put it into specs." He's like, "Bring me the spec sheet when you're done that says it's there." And I says, "Well, can I plate it?" And he's like, "As long as it's back into specs, you can plate the areas that were bent." And so, honestly, like the only
Wow.
reason we needed to plate it was
Kevin's
so
awesome.
because it was a little soft in those areas from getting crinkled up.
yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
How many
honestly-
years did you have that chassis though?
that's
That's-
like our fourth year.
that'll be the fourth year.
in pro.
Yeah,
in
so
pro-
it's had some bangs and bangs around.
oh yeah,
its
he
time,
wrecked it
even-
in Irwindale the very
Yeah.
first year. Pretty
Irwindale again. Long
good.
Beach.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Atlanta a little bit.
and then a little door gettings
not
and stuff
Seattle,
like
though.
that.
Not in Seattle. I made it through there good.
I was like, "Woo." That was a nerve one. That was a nerve wracking.
That's fast. That was my first time at that track this past year, and that was something.
Yeah.
It's a good
Seattle
place
Fat.
to end some chassis, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong.
Track.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting because I've heard multiple people actually are bringing their older cars to Long Beach this year just because they don't want to destroy
It's
the
hard.
new
Really?
one.
That's funny.
You
Who's
don't get a lot of
who?
testing. You
That's
know?
funny. Who said that?
Mata.
To you?
Mod is
Oh,
bringing his car from last year to Long Beach.
Just so he has a new car. I didn't know he's building a new one.
you don't need a crazy
Yeah.
amount of speed for that one,
No.
so it makes sense. Like,
Mata must be watching my videos going, oh shit, dog.
it's like, I
Yeah.
should probably do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically playing ping pong with the rear end of your car the entire track. So
Well, it's so devastating to know that you put so much love into this, and then
Yeah.
maybe you have to drive a little conservative, and then when you drive a little conservative, you just
Why don't
we
just
out.
park?
then you drove wrong, and then
Nope.
therefore
Right.
you hit the wall. Whereas if you're driving like you should be, then maybe you don't, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So it's
That-
definitely about having confidence coming in there.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Now that you're not having to focus on pro and pro spec, do you think it'll be a little easier to like get your head in the game to just compete in pro? I mean, obviously you're crewing as well, but you don't have to be a competitor in 2 different series.
You know, I think Tommy Lemaire said that too, and I kind of maybe took it a little for granted with that. But I think when I talked to you at Salt Lake a little bit about it, that I had
Yeah.
come to that conclusion too. That yeah, definitely, like you can step back. There's those, you know, you like Olaf even says, don't just do laps. Make sure you're doing laps with intention. And
Yep.
so last season may have been just like so much more do laps.
Yeah.
Now it'd be more laps with intention, right? So you'll be able to sit back, and I wanted that to go into the season, but I have such this like I'm so like just let's get another lap, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, when I did pro and pro spec, I wanted to be like, okay, do a lap, think about it, but I still couldn't wrap my head around that. I just wanted more laps and more laps. So I think they both bring something to the table, but I think the being able to be more methodical about a lap has a lot to be said. And now that I don't have I feel like the economy's a little slower. We're making a little less money at work. I don't have as many tires. My laps are going to be more methodical because I'm probably going to be maybe don't have as many tires or be running scrubs or don't. You know, we're now doing. Hopefully, she's taking it to the final, and I'm having to buy more tires for her too. So.
Right.
Ultimately, like I feel like that'll be the case. Is
We'll see.
more methodical laps to understand the track and
Gotta make them count this time around.
yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, even our other guy that's on here, Brandon, even on the sim, like he said multiple times, he's like, you can go on there, rip for the first hour that you're on there. 10 minutes into that second hour, all of a sudden you start sucking, and then all your brain just keeps like compounding like the bad thoughts about how you're sucking, but then you're not retaining about why you're sucking. And it's like, all right, well, now I'm just wasting time. And if that you put that into a real life perspective, now you're wasting your time, money, your car, tons of different things. Like,
Chellee's
yeah.
Chellee's different about that. She can go on the sim for hours, I think, and continually get better. I'm the other way around. Like I would rather do a 15-minute session in the morning, 20 minutes in the morning, and then another one in the evening. Make them really count both of those sessions, and I'm doing better. But at a drift event, I want to drive all day.
Yeah.
I feel like I can get value. She, on the other hand, she'll drive with Olaf for 2 or 3 hours, and I'm almost like I'm over it within an hour.
Like driving the whole time though.
She's like they're like but I just like I'm over it within that amount of time.
It
like,
depends on how many Yinglings I have in my body at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm getting rammed in the
I
pits by a
cannot
random.
drive the sim.
No, you're not very good, you say?
No. I suck at driving just even in the evening sometimes because
They say that Logitech actually developed their first steering wheel for this type of stuff, so that way it was a way to get their people, like drunk drivers, off the road.
oh really?
Really?
Like genuinely.
That's funny. I didn't know that. But
I mean,
I mean, it works.
A little
Here I
tiny
am.
little-
Here I am every
yeah,
night.
you aren't carving up the mountains.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys obviously it's going to be a fun year for you guys, exciting year.
Yeah.
But last year, did you have like a high point, or like what's been like so far in your guys' drifting career, kind of your high point so far?
high points.
Yeah.
Atlanta win for me. That was definitely a high point. coming. I mean, like it was, and honestly, my whole prospect year was really fun. I had so much fun driving with Ben. I feel like that season, like now that he's on RTR, we don't hang out. He has a whole new group of friends. And the season before, we were like, I wouldn't say we were like battling each other, but like best friends. So like it was really, the dynamic was really fun there.
Cool.
And he's just like such a like, what's the word? Hang loose kind of guy, like a surfer. That everything's fun to him, and we're having fun all the time. And now, and I can't say it's more serious for him, but we're just not on. We don't see each other anymore, right? So like that was a really fun time. And then I was doing hot pits, and he was coming to hot pits, and like it was more like hanging with the bros on the highest level you could. And I was doing good. I made a ton of money that season.
Yeah,
I won a bunch of hot pits events. That was fun. And then for me,
I loved hot pit.
Yeah.
Hot pit is fun.
And then my highlight for last season would have been with Chellee. Like I feel like I was the crew chief for her whole season, and she went from zero to hero and just kept like reeling in the trophies. Like she's got a whole stack of them in the kitchen, like 5 trophies there. That
I keep trying to put them away, and he's like keeps putting them back on.
He
the
just
island.
keeps drinking out of them. I don't get it.
He did that too. No, but like I want to, like every day, like I want to not. You go put them up in the cabinet, and they're not like there to remind you that this is what we're pushing. This is what the hard days are for. Is for this, right? So I leave them on the counter. They're right in front of where you cook every single day. You know, and mine were for the season after I got those, and those kind of made their way up there. And as the new ones hopefully come, then we'll slide them into that position, and maybe the other ones will filter out. So that was really fun for me to do that. And I have fun like yelling at the boys. I've got fun yelling at my buddies that my wife's gonna beat your ass.
Amazing.
It's gonna be
So
awesome. Although Robert Thorin said you could drive, so I don't know.
It's true. He did.
He did.
That's good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the day.
Oh, whatever.
I think that's anyone.
Like anytime you're like, oh man, I'm actually pretty good, and then it's like not.
Yeah.
and then you can do a little better. You're like, okay, I'm getting pretty good, and then you go to the next level, and you're like, oh, I suck at this. That's pretty much what like getting better in drifting is like, because it's very like I just have to really focus like on small wins and realizing that they really stack up when you start being able to cross them off your list. So. For me, like I guess my highs would be like I really love learning new things. I really love
Sweden was a high.
challenging myself.
Sweden was fun.
Yeah, meeting Olaf. He's such a good friend of mine.
That's cool.
It's so fun because you meet someone on the internet, you're like, oh no.
Especially
I haven't
Olaf, like, is he
before,
a snowman? Is he like the snowman from what's the movie?
Yeah.
I know. You're like, oh no.
Frozen.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I see him on all the live streams during the FD rounds because he watches them and he comments all the time.
Oh yeah. He's smart. I know. He's
a
gonna be there
fellow shit
defending
talker.
me. He's gonna be there defending all the haters. Probably.
Yeah, I like his shit talking too. I do like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. Like, yeah, I mean, I mean, winning is always cool, right? But like, I don't know. For me, when I feel really satisfied, honestly, is where I really, because drifting can be a really like high, strikes and gutters, like really highs and lows, and sometimes you just want to quit and whatnot. But I found that like for me, what really sparks joy is I really love like giving ride-alongs to people or just getting out of the car and people are like, holy cow, that's a girl. Like that's cool, like I feel it is kind of like the whole women in motorsports thing can be kind of
well, you got your own merch line.
I do remember merch line, yes. But like, it can be kind of like you kind of have this idea like, oh, these beautiful women in motorsports or whatever, but it's kind of fun to just like hang with the guys and like really earn their respect. Because at Hot Pit, it was I was the first girl to come in, and I was like just my first year competing, and ever driving a bank and all that. And so you'd be like, "Hi, I'm Chellee," like introduce myself, and really kind of like getting to be friends and with guys, and really for them to see like, hey, there are girls out there that are really cool and are here and that can drive. And like I think it kind of gives them hope, like, hey, I might be able to like meet a cool girl like that, versus like kind of say, oh, I could never date a car girl or whatever, right? Because I don't know, it just kind of helps that whole
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like it's a little bit of a bad rap, like a stereotype almost of like a car girl. So I hear that a lot, like, oh, I can never be a car girl. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, like
we're just silent.
my profession is automotive, so it's like this is my whole life. Like, what do you mean?
I know.
I get it. It's like going out there. You obviously kick ass.
Yeah.
You're proving that you can hang in there with all these dudes. Like you're helping all the other women come after you and with you, showing that it can be done and you can be cool and sweet and fun to hang out with. So,
but what is cool though is you aren't a dude and you are different though. Like you said, Rudy, compared to Rudy, you listen and like, so like you bring a different element as well though. You bring your own style in the way you drive, because I assume, I'm just guessing, that you and Rudy drive differently.
Oh yeah, like night and day.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's the difference between you two? like driving wise.
Let the methodical one explain it.
Okay, Rudy drives chaos. Look at these boobs. Like, what is this? Fear panic. I'm like, just chill.
I wouldn't call it panic, but like I do everything a little faster, but I drive way more aggressive.
Yeah.
She drives a lot more methodical, but as she's got better, she doesn't drive in the pocket as much. So she's very good at her lead lines. She can always land like her.
Hey, I've been driving in pocket though.
Yeah,
I've been getting in the pocket
every day better. But like overall, she does a better lead line from the beginning. And like for me, like I would rather go chase to follow the speed. She can go find the speed for the track on her own. So she has it. We kind of both bring two different things to it. But
Rudy drives with like emotion, and I definitely drive with more like I'll really think. I'll go through the whole track in my brain, and then it'll be very calculated. Yeah. Rudy does not calculate it. I have like.
What were you looking at? I'm like, I don't remember what I was looking at.
Everything is a memorized step for me when it comes to like leading, and even in the chase, I'm going through. Okay, like very methodical how I'm going to approach that driver. And then, but then in chase, it can be a little different because you're kind of more, understanding how where that driver is going to go based on the move they're making at the moment, how the second radius is going to be. So,
but thank God for Olaf, because honestly, that's how I had to learn. That's how I learned drifting, was like the seat of my pants. There's nobody teaching me.
Same, yeah.
But she did. But you kind of got stopped in your tracks and be like, hold on, girl, let's go back to the beginning and let's riding. Let's teach you how to ride the bike from the beginning. So that's where she's more methodical, because she does know these steps. And like honestly, like backing up to where her and Olaf got together, is I actually knew Rome was getting taught by Olaf, and I was like, I want you to teach me, and he's like, no, I'm too busy. And I'm like, okay, understandable. He teaches Rome, he teaches Osbo, he teaches a couple people, a handful of them is it. Like, I'll pay you. And he's like, no, I'm too busy. And so Chellee was hanging on that conversation that night, and I went to bed, and she talked to him till like 2 a.m. So the next day I go to work. They talk for a long time. And I wake up the next day.
Networking. That's networking.
She's a networker. But like ultimately, like
have you seen their booth? Exactly.
Right. He saw the passion in her and like the ability for maybe her to listen, or I think he also wanted to see somebody that he's been teaching Chrissy Alto, and he wants
no, just with me. Yeah, we worked a little bit. Yeah.
He wanted to see a girl do good too. I think he's wanted to see a girl kick ass. And so ultimately the next day she calls me up at noon and she's like, guess who's teaching me? And Olaf's like, yeah, I'm gonna train her. But back to like recircling the whole story around, like he's jumped in with her and taught her these methodical things. So now my drifting has come from just like doing whatever it took to get the job done. So I
Right.
had to apply a lot of shitty habits. And so like we'll go to an event and I'll be the first to admit it. She's like, "What are you looking at there? Like, this is the steps to getting this done right." And we'll go through it. And he's like, "Yeah," and I can tell it's like from her lessons. So it's really cool to see like this. Like, there's no handbook on how to drift. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing that teaches you. It's like, okay, you gonna handbrake through here and like look like a retard? Or are you gonna
That's
like?
why there's, I think, so many like motocross riders, BMX riders, skateboarders, and things like that end up, skiers that come into the sport because it is like it's your own style, essentially, to get to that end goal.
Yeah, but she can like understand him and like bring stuff to the table that I like. We'll go to the track walks and I'll be like, "Get Olaf on the course on the phone," and he'll walk me through what like these things, and then she'll like she'll like relay it to me and her the way she communicates with me, and it's awesome to say the least. Like he's super smart and can break it down in a way that's understandable that you can actually apply it. So I think that's something, I think in the future that's what Olaf wants to do, is like create a book or some series that will get people like this, like step one, like back up, step two, and these things actually will teach you how to do it, because we're just everybody's winging it. That's the way I learned it. So yeah.
That's so cool. We actually had some comments in here. I just wanted to quick hit.
Bunch.
From
Yeah.
local
Yeah.
Yeah.
Local cereal. I'm pretty sure. Is that Chris from your team? I think
No.
No, somebody's from your team.
Cyril?
I thought.
Cyril is from our team, but that's not Chris.
Okay, sorry. But he did ask how many times did you guys hit each other in ice drifting?
Oh, well, like you mean Rudy hit me?
Yeah.
Like Rudy's still funny. He's like, you should have run into me, and I'm like, no, because I am like, I like to just place the car right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and Rudy's like, bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
well, the ice drifting cars, you can wall up on them. The suspension is
Yeah.
so much tougher, and then the fenders can take the beating, and so like for me, it's the funnest part of drifting is having a car that you can just beat the shit out of and really don't care about it. And honestly, every time I
care about my car though. See, I care about my car.
I fix the car, so I don't care.
No, he
For
puts
me-
lines all around it. Wheel marks all
for
the
me,
way down Julia Roberts.
For me, when I'm drifting with her and when I give her a little push, it's like smacking her ass.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
It's not just it's
You
so
see
much.
what I mean?
It's so much fun. Like when we're drifting with the pro cars, I'm like, I really don't
It's
need
his
to.
opinion.
I don't love to rub them because the fiberglass breaks. It's hard on them. The
Yeah.
wraps are ugly, right? But on the ice cars, like there was sometimes I was getting 5-6 rubs
There's no wraps. They're painted.
per wraps. I'm talking the wraps on the pro cars.
Oh.
I don't like rubbing the pro cars because the wraps get destroyed and
So
you're
much
trying to make
talking.
them look pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The ice cars, I don't care. We just
Clearly.
both of the windows won't even
I did a
roll
video
down.
on after the season. It was quite bad.
Yeah, the windows
Yeah.
don't even roll down because they're all smashed in on that one side.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
It's not ice cars for you though. Ice cars, you can
Yeah.
do that. I mean, it's just kind of like slow motion drifting, but it's still
Yeah.
not slow motion. It's fast, but
Right.
it's like you don't have the elements like the screeching of tires.
Yeah.
You don't have the smoke, so like you kind of have these different elements that that are less distracting, so it feels a little slower.
Mhm.
But our cars were slower than Olaf's. Olaf's were a lot faster. That his track was a bit faster than our track. But
His cars are just a little lighter than ours, and he had
Yeah,
a little
lighter,
better
that
tires than
makes
us
sense,
this
yeah.
season.
Nice.
So that made
Interesting.
his stuff faster.
Yeah. TSH Auto. Jeez, oh Pete's. I think it's pretty sure it's Vasily up in Canada. How was ND Pro? How was the ND Pro-Am experience? I'm pretty sure it wasn't great. Well, maybe he didn't like it, so I don't know. I'm just curious on your stance on the ND Pro-Am experience.
I wouldn't say that it wasn't great. I'd say it's a smaller track, so therefore
Yeah.
it wasn't like
It's very left footing. Like you,
the
like
track was like
a lot of left footing.
half as big as E-Town.
Oh,
So
wow.
the track, yeah. So
It's
so
really
it wasn't
small.
like getting you ready for pro spec.
Yeah.
It was like for us, it was like slowing down for Indy Drift. So the track was very, very slow. The people were really nice. The facility's really nice.
Really like family friendly.
Yeah.
Track. It's super cool track though. Like
The asphalt's
vibe.
really good. The vibe's really good, but it's great for just kind of a local jam. It's definitely not high speeds whatsoever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you don't have a big run up. It's very second gear only.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Second gear to first gear.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wow.
It's pretty slow. Like I had a hard time because I showed up with like Valinos, which was not good.
Yeah, ready to do wheelies on everybody.
Redware Valinos.
Yeah, and I didn't. At that point, I didn't have my brake booster delete on there, and I was grinding my brake pads down so I could drive with people because I literally could just run over people every minute. It was the drivers though; they were really good drivers.
Yeah.
I
would definitely recommend for everybody to go there. That's a great facility, great vibe.
Yeah, great vibe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just don't bring your 1,000 horsepower car there
don't
and try to go.
Really grippy tires.
Yeah,
300
exactly.
300 treadwear tires would be bad.
Especially at what were you, like 400 something horsepower too? That was just pure grip. You were ready. It was just all grip.
Yeah, that was hard to like kind of gauge that, but like really fun layouts because they could do all these different layouts on this one track.
Nice.
I do like a series that has different tracks for every round. I feel like that really dictates who does well, like the champion, right? Because like I'm glad that they're kind of getting rid of shootouts because shootouts are really such luck because you can have somebody who should win that and they like something breaks on their car, right? And it's just based on that one day versus like this series is like 3 times you got to travel to that destination and there are 3 different destinations. And the hardest part about going to Indy Drift is that the people that are competing have over thousands of laps on that track. Thousands. And so you got to go there and win it, you know? And I mean, you should be able to win it if you're really that good. Mm-hmm. I think I got 4th at both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had those were my first 2 comps was Indy, and I was really learning how to do more left foot. I never have really had to left foot like that before in my life, so that was huge learning curve for me. Which, I mean, honest, you guys, this is my 5th year driving. This will be my 3rd year competing. Like it's pretty. Like there's a lot I'm learning. Like I get nervous. You guys talk all nice about me, but I got a lot to learn. Like don't bring your expectations and just bring it down.
Well, I think it's just the way how you. I think it's the way how you have actually proven that you are a force to be reckoned with. I don't think it's anybody just like blowing smoke or anything like that.
I just love it though. I just love it.
It's definitely gone through plenty of grapevines of just actually.
Look out, boys!
Yeah, of like proper driving. So.
Dude, I got Rome as my spotter this year. I'm so pumped. Like my team is like dialed.
Yeah. If you
Rudy on my car, Chris on my car.
If you're running against her, you know I'm going to be in her ear telling her to hit you. So look out.
I'm going to not hopefully hit you hard. Okay, that's not the goal.
I'm gonna try to do it gentlemanly.
Well, when I'm feeling it, guys, I'm gonna come in
there. Terrence Sawtell says Rudy and Chellee are the bomb, best people in drifting. Chellee is a wheel woman. Watch out. And how many dead tires are in Rudy's garage right now?
Oh my! 200 or 300, and they're not deads. They're all scrubs. 2 or maybe.
Deads, we're pretty good at getting rid of the dead.
I got a pile of 70 deads outside and probably 200 or 300 scrubs.
We had a fence for a while, but our neighbor didn't like that, so came over and knocked it over one night. So we were
built like a tire fence.
Yeah.
Well, they had a pile of tires. He complained about him, and he said he was going to put a fence up. So I'm like, I'll build an earth fence for you. So I built a fence like 100 foot long, like 10 foot tall. And he got drunk and came over there and pushed it over.
But yeah, no. Well, Yeah,
Lots.
you have to understand, we own a construction company, so we get a lot of piles that come and go. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
constant thing. So
The garage
we
gets
purge,
you know,
and then it piles up, and then we
well,
purge.
it's funny though. Like I say, maybe a couple hundred tires in there, right? Like, but like we can go out for the weekend and both of us blow out 60 tires. So like that's like 3 or 4 weekends.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, a
If we
lot
do
of
60 tires in a weekend real
Yeah.
quick, like that, just like 3 or 4 weekends. So the tire pile kind of grows. Everybody kind of gets mad at me at FD for still like
And
taking from the scrub pile, but I'm just trying to get it done. I'm just trying to have some tires to go drive on. Yeah,
100%.
to get through the events. Like, and like some days we get practice events, and I just run scrubs because it's
Oh, you
obviously
guys, I
expensive.
was learning with like the right tire in the rear being some other tire than the left tire. I had
Yeah.
all sorts of different tires.
Got
We
some
just
Federals, some Acceleras, some Mucho Machos going on.
all the time. Still, even last summers we were doing that.
That's what I mean, that you just do what you gotta do. I mean, now obviously I'm a little more dialed. I had last season, I was really lucky. I had a friend who I met through kind of my friends at Volino. They were saying he wanted to help a woman in motorsport, and they recommended me to him. And so I met him at Long Beach, and he just really wanted to support somebody, and we hit it off, and he helped me with my tires all last year, which was like insane, like
Hell yeah.
mind blowing. And I think this year he's going to be helping me as well. With this all
Nice.
this government stuff going on, it's been a little hairy figuring out
Right.
money with everybody, because everyone's holding their breath right now. So
Exactly.
but hopefully that works out again. And he said if I got my license last year that he would take Rudy and I to Hawaii. And I was
wow.
so I sent him
That's
a
so
picture.
cool.
Quick
going
mentioning that again, just as a reminder. Haven't been to Hawaii yet. Wait on this.
But now giving us the option: do you want tires or Hawaii? We're
Yeah.
taking tires.
Right.
Yes.
I'll take tires, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
because like that is so nice to not have that stress of that. I did apply for some like grants and stuff this year, but it got denied. It is quite weird to be like a female and that's made it to the highest level of drifting and having a really hard time for people to take me seriously, like that I'm at that level. Like I'm the first girl who's ever won a championship, even in Pro-Am ever.
Yeah.
I or even win as many trophies as I've won even this year, and it's like still like I'm not seen as it like that really it's a professional level, which is weird.
Interesting.
It is weird.
With for grants, right? Or money.
Yeah.
Parts have been really good. Like companies have been really supportive, like especially if there is a woman in the company, they've always been super supportive of helping me with like helping me get parts and stuff. And that's been like really, really cool. And I feel like even in drifting, like I hear all these women, even like at PRI, you go to some of the conventions and those talks, and some girls talk about not really getting treated well. And I feel like with drifting, I never have had that. I feel like guys have always been, some of my biggest fans are the guys I'm going against and getting one more times with. And like, I feel super supportive by the men, and women of drifting. So I'm really proud of our sport for that. And I think maybe that's where I can help drifting, is it help it become a little bit more seen as more professional for these companies who are giving out grants.
100%.
For sure.
That's awesome. Actually, speaking of women in drifting, we got Subi Girl Drifts here and says, "Let's go Team Hansen," of course. Bunch of great comments here, but I wanted to get her actual question. She says, "Shell, do you have any interest in coaching others too?"
Oh my gosh, yes. Like if I'm at an event and anybody, I always offer like, hey, if you want me to come ride with you, like and ride around the track, or I've even gotten in the car with other girls or guys, and I'm like, okay, let's just go out and do some driving together. I'm always willing to do that at an event.
I think that's our long-term goal, though.
Yeah, for like, I think our dream would be like kind of something like the Drift Mansion.
Oh yeah.
I love hospitality, and I love cooking and hosting people, and I could see it. And then Rudy kind of running all the, all the maintenance of everything, and then both of us, teaching, because I think that would be very us vibe. when we first went to the Drift Mansion, that was right when it was getting started, and I was like, I could see us like really doing something like this.
I'm a builder. I'd like to build stuff. I'd like to build like
Uh-huh.
something that's unique, and then something, and then be able to facilitate, our cars there, and then be able to like pass it on to other people. Because I think that's one of the funnest parts about drifting for me too, is putting somebody in the car. I think our funnest for us as a team though, like yes, what we really loved, we really enjoy putting a couple in the car and doing a tandem drift with a boyfriend girlfriend in the car. I like throwing the girl in, she likes throwing the boy in, and like get a look at each other when we're drifting, and like honestly, like I tell them, put your hand out the window and touch the other car, touch your girlfriend in the other car, like and take photos of them, and we'll do nose circles together, and we'll look over at. We already know the gig, so we'll look over at the passengers end, and you can just see their like love for each other, like as we're doing this like circle thing, because you put those two together in the circle, and it's super rad to like see this, like see it come in. They're like it clicks in their heads, like
we
this.
could do this.
We could do this together, like as
Like a swan dance.
Yep, it is. It really is dancing.
Yeah,
Because I suck at dancing, so
that's all right, buddy. Me too.
You dance while you drive. Not joking.
100%.
Yeah, doing like a Macarena. You were saying.
Yeah, all over the place. Very
Oh,
improv.
man. That's funny. So like what would you do for a track, you think? Like what is there something that's kind of inspired you for like you said you like to build things, like have you ever thought in your head of like building drift track or like what format you want to do?
obviously that's the passion, right? I mean, like, I think every driver wants to have a track at their house. I don't think this what it needs to be is like, I mean, I'm not Vaughn or Ken that has enough money to like just. Right. I'm not at home like drawing tracks.
I think it'd be cool to do ice though. Like we could.
I think it'd be
that'd
just
be a realistic thing.
Honestly, either
really
or. But I think improv is. I'm good enough at improv that whatever the facility is that we can get into that already got something that has pavement down that you can slowly build on is like the goal. Like, and then maybe at that point, then I'll like wrap my head around it. But I think kind of like we said with the drift match, and they've done it. They had just something that went around the house, and then they've added on here, and then they've added on here, and each one of them can intertwine into all of it. I mean, yeah, I mean, if I felt like I was coming from bigger money, I would sit down and have something drawn up that was like that's my ultimate dream. But I'm a reality to it all is something that just has one big high speed corner that you can have a really nasty entry into, and hopefully eventually you create that thing where it's 100-mile-an-hour entry into something around your stinking house. That's awesome, right? Like something super scary that you can also have is really chill the rest of the day. So you can get those people that come out. They don't get to drive around the drift mansion. Not everybody gets to go around the house, but you can throw them in there. You can do 100-mile-an-hour entry with your wife, blow their mind, get them hooked on it, and then they can go rent your drift car or whatever for the weekend and do little teeny burnouts all weekend long, and kind
of like what Pastrana's got going on too. Like
just
like he's got his
just like he teaches kids to do backflips all day long, right? Like I think that's really inspiring to be like, this shit's easy, bro. Watch, I can get anybody to do a backflip. Watch, come here, let's do it, right? He can get anybody to, and I think that's kind of like it's. For me, like motocross is such a rad sport, but you can't put anybody on the back of a motorcycle and show them that your whole soul is around, right? But drifting you can. So that's what's really cool about the sport.
That's really cool.
I could see us doing something like that, maybe.
Yeah. Well, another really cool thing about you guys is you guys have like matching cars or matching styles, for cars and stuff like that. So like, where is your inspiration? Because you definitely have I would say it's the brightest car on the track. I would say.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, like Lori Heinonen.
Yeah.
Over across the pond. Or like
I don't think you bring him up because he was actually my inspiration for my car.
There it is. All
wow.
right. Good to know.
That's funny. I mean, you make a traffic cone jealous. I'm just gonna say that now.
No, Lori's car, I loved his car. Like I think I followed his. Like I loved his yellow, and then I loved his numbers that were that are the the chrome that we have on ours.
Yeah.
I brought that into ours the next season. But I mean, like, I just kind of tell her Chellee what I want, but she's a fine arts painter and it's like designs
wow.
everything. So like, I'm still like, I can't design nothing. But we have between like I'm out there building. I tell her what I want, and then she has
Too many. He is so funny because he'll want like so many things that don't go together, and I'm like, so I have to explain to him it's like cooking, like you can't mix certain things. It just doesn't. You have to like.
He's putting bleach with ammonia right now.
Right.
I'm like, I only have 4 colors, like max.
Right.
Otherwise, because
Yeah.
okay, for me, starting off as a fan at FD, I noticed, and what I take back to all of that is remembering, okay, I really liked it when a car was really easy to know the driver every time they came out.
Yeah.
Because at that point I was just getting familiar with FD, and then it was really nice to like have a car where they come out and you're like, oh, well, that's that driver. Like it's very clear. And
not
then,
just a black car.
And then also what else is important to me is at being a spotter, it is very nice to be able to look and see where Rudy's at. Like I can see him in the burnout box and I'm like, okay, like, versus it's really hard sometimes with the communication with everything going on. Sometimes you'll miss your driver if somebody doesn't tell you they're coming at certain tracks. So it is really nice to be able to visually notice him. I also knew that, like, I guess it's just we wanted what Rudy wanted, because it started out with Rudy, was like a moto kind of like 90s moto vibe.
That's where the
a little Troy Lee Designs action going on.
Yeah. And we've always, we both were dirt biking before, and like, I mean, like, I feel like that was a good way to. I am an artist in real life. I do fine art watercolor painting.
Yeah.
But I do understand like design, and I also wanted it to reflect who we are, right? But it also had to be on a budget. And I think the first year we had somebody who was going to do our wrap, and then then they bail or whatever. You kind of have that going on and drifting quite a bit with some things. And so I had to do it for FD, and it was not what I wanted, and I just made it happen. But the next year we started working with our good friend John, and he lives in Boise, and he actually worked for a wrap company. And I was able to kind of tell him what Rudy wanted, but clearer. And he came out with a really good design. And then this last year I kind of drew him more in a direction of what I wanted, and he really produced a really cool design. It's always just kind of goes back and forth of me and him, and
I got involved with it, and then I got kicked out.
Yeah,
I just communicated there.
Yeah, I don't.
We're laying in bed, and I'm like, I want it really bright. I want chrome. Here's a picture of the car I want to look like, and I showed her Lori's car. And I'm like, I really like that. That car popped to me. Like, it looked
that
really
car
good.
is gangster, yeah.
Yeah, it looks gangster. Like the chrome on it was simple. Everything was bright but simple.
The chrome is like
yeah. This last year car that you had was definitely.
Yeah, we're just doing this. Yeah, and we're carrying the same livery this year. I thought it was just really on point. I really liked it. There wasn't really much I wanted to change. Maybe like, I really want to go with more of a street art look. Is really kind of what I was explaining to our John. And then John is the one who he designs and prints our wrap, and he does it all of the kindness of his heart. We just pay for materials, and he is so cool. He's taught me how to wrap. I mean, I still am not like anywhere near his level at all, but I can rewrap the fenders and stuff when they die and whatnot. But
every round from me.
Yeah. But, so I'm kind of the one who fixes the wrap throughout the season with just pieces and stuff that I can do. But yeah, like I was really happy with it. So we're keeping the same wrap. We're just gonna have our names and numbers, and like the cockpits will all be custom to
Nice.
us. So
Yeah.
like I said, we're not sure what car we have an idea of what cars we're
Pretty
driving.
much, you guys will know the differences because I'm gonna keep my same hood scoop that I have.
Yeah.
She's gonna have her new hood scoop, and obviously she'll have the number. Well, no, she may have the number on top of her hood, but you'll know that the hood scoop that I built is gonna go back onto my car and Pro, and hers is gonna have a lighter, overall lightweight, more lightweight hood scoop because her car needed to lose some weight.
I can't see over his hood scoop.
Yeah, my hood
fins.
So she's got a little lower profile, and it's
Lower
a little,
profile.
It's overall, it made it lighter. I had to put a lot of Bondo into that hood to get the form I wanted to. So,
Oh, you made that.
I made that
Oh,
hood.
hot dog.
Yeah, that was the first thing I'd ever done out of foam.
He was a little nervous.
Every single thing I've done, I've been learned from the class of just try it like 4 times over.
The class of try it 4 times.
Yep. So I just put foam inside of there, and took measurements and put foam in there and formed it and wrapped it.
Like the foam used for to insulate a house, like the stiff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything's about building a house, right?
Yeah, everything with us is like construction related. Because even his homie at Sherwin-Williams was like helping us. With
All Sherwin-Williams stuff went into the thing. So
he didn't want to actually say he wasn't really Lori Heinen, and it's just that he wears a construction vest all the time. He's like, I need that on the damn car.
Oh my gosh, Sweden, that is funny. Like everything is neon yellow and black. Cause like everyone's just like out walking at night. That's a normal thing. Like you just walking around at night. It's just like
everybody wears the neon safety vests and outfits.
Yeah, pants.
The gray pants with the yellow stripe on the bottom and the coats with yellow stripe. Everybody wears them there. It's a normal thing. In the U.S., when you're seeing that, you're either a nerd or a construction worker.
Yep. You're looking for the clipboard.
Sweden, everybody. It's a normal thing.
Sweden is like introverts' paradise. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what that's sort of what I've been feeling. It's not a perfect place for a guy like me.
It's awesome. I wish I want to go there in the summer and see what it's like in the summer. I could definitely live there. That place is awesome.
Well, okay, so there's a couple more topics I want to hit. We're getting closer to the 2-hour mark, but so I want to hit these things two things real quick. One is your booth and everything that you designed there, which is really cool. And then you also have a website that's like super detailed and like updated, unlike every other driver I've seen.
Really?
Yeah,
I did that.
I looked at the website. I was like, "What in the world? This is like nice."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you. I actually just worked on it today. So.
Oh, okay.
You were texting her. She was working on it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's funny.
Thank you. That's nice. Because I like to keep it up to date. Like I just added our new car onto there because I have like meet our cars, meet our team, stuff like that. So I also always really want to keep like all our discount codes up to date on there for our companies that we work with, and we're working with a few more companies this year, and so I wanted to make sure that we got them on there because when a lot of people trust us with our builds of our car, and they want to know what is in them. So I say, just go to our website, all our discount codes, or if you're wondering, down to what kind of spark plugs we run, everything is under that page of our partners and our discount codes. So you can see that there. And then an explanation of what we have in our cars in details with photos on top of who's on our team this year, our live schedule on the homepage. Also, like today I had somebody ask me a little bit, send me some information about you guys, like a little bio, and I'm like, just go to my website, So it's like kind of like our driver deck in a way.
Oh, nice.
So
that was great.
So like if a company wants to know a little bit about us, I'm like, just check out our website. That way you can kind of see like up-to-date photos of the season. I put all our wins and like our awards on there as well.
All your whole schedule. Like you even had like a meet the team tab where like you had like bios on your team members. Like
Yep. And right now it's just
it's so cool.
Yeah, thanks. And then what's different about our team this year is that we're gonna have what we're doing differently is we're having since now that we've been doing FD for will be our fifth year. We've met people at every track, and so now what's cool is like we have the same person at each track coming onto our team that's a local.
Hell yeah.
And it's really nice because they know everybody there locally and like the area. They also have their car, a place to stay, so it really helps us like money wise. And then they really don't have to commit to a whole 8 rounds, which is really nice. But then we have Chris, who's like our normal everyday guy, so like it's a good mix. I like that. And then I'll have some of my girlfriends helping me with the merch booth this year now that I'm driving.
Right.
So my girlfriends are awesome. They're like little mountain town hippies that come and help me, and like they're so cute and different, and they just love it. They just love like the vibe of the whole
they
thing.
come from the mountains and they're like
cowgirls with fringe.
Yeah, and they're like, this racing stuff is amazing, and so they're like living their best life down in the city all of a sudden.
Yeah, so
that's amazing.
My friends are awesome, and yeah, our merch is like kind of a mixture. We've had like John, and then if you click on those, it'll take you to my merch store.
Like on this?
Yeah, if you click on like the shirts or whatnot, because I have it linked to my Shopify.
Oh, there you go.
So
Boom.
yeah, and this last year we worked with 6 creatives, and we did a T-shirt for every round. I'm not going to do that this year because it's just crazy, but we'll have some of those same shirts this year. And then I have a really cool new team shirt design that's going to be coming out with Ignition Speed this year. So
like this reminds me on like the level of like an RTR. Like you go look at the RTR merch and it's like really good, and like this is like really good too.
Click on the one from Florida. That's the Florida one is.
Oh, the Florida. Yeah, I drew that one.
Yeah, go up.
Some of them are my designs, like Long Beach.
Click on that one. That one is so cool. Everybody needs to see that. Like, has so.
Well, that one's after all the drama from Atlanta.
Yeah, with the judges. So that one's got.
So I did the 3 blind mice as the judges.
Oh my gosh!
If you see it, and then
I have that as a sticker. It's a great sticker.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And then on the front is a mousetrap, and it says "robbed."
Wow!
Like as the brand.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's a good shirt.
Yeah, it was just me being an artist, bringing out my politics.
Oh, and there you
go. All of our shirts have the banana on them because that was me and Ben's like gig from from Pro Spec. I would actually at the hot pit rounds I'm always eating a banana, and so a couple of the rounds during the practice laps I would just throw my banana out the window at him.
And you would too, yeah.
Yeah,
was so
from the Mario Kart videos, so I would do that. So NGK obviously has helped us out, so we did that. That was a good like little platform to build them on it, and then build a little stair step, and so yeah.
See, and it was Disney because I tried to make every shirt kind of themed towards where the town and stuff. So at first, which I can't say too loud because I'm gonna bust it out maybe with some stickers this year. But like I was at first gonna do Jared and Jacob, and I have like Disney characters for them that
gosh.
Like when they see it, I was like, "Oh my god!" And then, but then I had to do this because the whole like the judging thing.
So like St. Louis has the Gran Turismo one, which is
no, it was the video game, the Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, excuse me. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto one, and then there's bullet holes in that one. That one is cool. It just came out with a new video game.
That's amazing. It's legit, like out of Vice City. That's great.
Yeah, that one's turned out super cool. And then for Seattle, we did the.
Seattle is a Sasquatch's Rudy.
That's Jacob on it.
Right,
not Jacob. That's Jared Deanna.
Oh my gosh.
And those are tank tops, which was cute.
Like I saw Jared in Salt Lake after, and I'm like, oh my god, that is you, buddy. So we had to give him one of those.
Oh my god.
So each one kind of has.
Atlanta there's like downtown Atlanta has that graffiti on one of the buildings, and so we put Rudy's car into same lettering as the downtown Atlanta. It's like a signature there.
It's like a mural.
Yeah, Long Beach is funny. I did Long Beach, and if you look at the shark fins on
Where-
that shark
So to match
probably-
the aquarium.
one, yeah,
The tie-dye one.
yeah. If you scroll to the actual image of it, does it have the image?
yep.
There it is. Because I have that in stickers. Yeah, look at the little shark fins.
That's RTR and Rockstar swirling around us.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They have like their little logo on there. That was funny.
And the banana's in that one too. The banana we have tried to incorporate with all of them.
Now you draw all these yourself?
I drew
and then
that.
you-
Yeah. I did that one in the Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, the Florida.
I don't
Yep.
think if I did any other. I think that's it.
Six's creatives helped us with a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Josh did an amazing
Yeah.
job on those.
Josh Pullman did.
I mean-
did a lot of the designs together.
You could definitely tell like your art style too, and it's good. Yeah, it's good
Thanks.
stuff.
Yeah. See, that's the Atlanta one, and then what other ones do we have that
Yeah,
were
Salt
fun?
Lake with the crazy
Oh, Salt Lake. Yeah, we just did that one.
electrician dude.
That's the Back to the Future mural.
Yeah, Back to the
our
Future guy.
town.
Oh yeah,
And
duh.
and that we photographed Rudy's car with. Yeah, so he kind of did the back. That one is really popular. People were asking if I had that on a shirt, so I decided to do that for the Salt Lake design.
We have banners with those in it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
sell
nice.
banners too. We're
Yeah.
kind of like the underground merch scene. of FD. And then we also have thongs or banana hammocks that have our TH banana on them, but I don't have
Yes.
those on the website because I sell out of them like immediately.
Oh my gosh.
How many of those do you get at a time?
A lot,
If you don't,
The
all right,
best,
wow.
the best was in Seattle. I had this guy who like walks in, there's all these other people, and then he walks out, and then he comes back when there's nobody. He's like, "I'll take." He's like wearing all teal. He's like, "I'll take the banana hammock." I was like,
all right, buddy, you can say it proud.
Yeah.
He's like into all that color. I'm like, yeah, you need.
You need the teal one.
Yeah. Are you wearing it just alone or underneath what you have on now?
Oh, he went and put it on.
Yeah,
It
he
was
was-
like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, there was
wearing
no
it.
time wasted.
He had nothing else
Yeah.
underneath at the time, and he had
Yeah.
And
That's
then obviously,
amazing.
and then we have a couple of them like that are the
I
shirts
think I'm
put
gonna
together.
I'm gonna make some Drift MILF aprons this year too. I'm gonna have those. They're gonna have the Drift MILF logo and Drift MILF aprons for cooking in the kitchen. So.
Oh, that's so funny.
Team Hansen mechanics wear the hammock. That was from Loco Cereal.
He was trying to
He's
get
one-
everybody to it. I don't know that I could even get him in.
We still need to make our ad for those.
Man, I
I have
don't
to
know if Andy would freak out at you or if he would just turn the other way at that point if he saw you guys on the hot pit with just a bunch of dudes in a banana hammock.
That's like Dan in St. Louis. Did you guys see him in his little shorts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were so funny.
That's amazing though. Like, yeah, and like I said, you keep it all up to date, and it's cool that you do it yourself, which is
Thanks.
really neat. And like you said, the merch is all crazy. Like I said, I was like low key. I really want to talk about that because it's like kind of shits all over everyone else. Not gonna lie.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
thank you.
Yeah, it's been. I kind of feel like I went a little crazy with it, but I this year I don't have a huge budget to throw at the merch this year, so it's gonna be a little less new stuff this year, but it will grow as the season goes on because
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a problem with having ideas in my head.
I was gonna say you say that now, but then the first round's gonna hit. You're gonna be like, "Damn, I should have
Yeah.
done this." It's like, all right, well, we're gonna
I have
come.
plenty. I have plenty of
To
stuff.
get, but to like back up every other dude that's out there driving, right? Like, not very many people have a woman that's as car driven as I do, in the sense of like, one, she's artistic, one, she loves the sports, one, she wants to see us do good, and is out there. Like, good example, Jonathan Hurst is out there just like, if he's probably just happy if he has tires for the weekend, he's got like a Subway sandwich in the cooler, and he's rolling to the races, and he's got $100 in his pocket, because you know what? It is so flipping hard to get it all together and get out the door and get there, rather than like all the other details that like these bigger teams or somebody that has a co-partner that's willing to like sacrifice like day in and day out. Like she spends so much time making sure our team looks on point, because honestly, Team Hansen would be just a single sticker. The one sticker that we made, which is mine, was clutch kick that bitch. And that would be the only one that we would roll with, because it is so hard for all of these people, like to have enough stuff out there, like to create anything cool. It's like we're all just trying so hard to get just a car that works on track for the next weekend.
Oh yeah,
Like,
just like
people
even,
don't get it. People do not get it.
What FD requires from you, you know, takes a long time. Like just to get into the series, like the tasks you have to do, and you know, I mean, that's a full-time job. It's a lot of work doing this series. So I can't imagine being from another country and doing it. That's
Or a single dude. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much work to like get this done.
Yeah, that's why, and make your partners happy, right? And have all that media made. And I think it is really, the media side is really hard too, because there's not a lot of
reliability.
Money. Well, it's like hard to pay somebody
for
their media when it's like you're not making money. You're just hemorrhaging it, and then like. Yeah, it's not even that much sometimes, like for really what it would cost, what it does cost to pay for it. But like, it's so hard when you're like, you know, a lap can cost you $500.
Yeah, for 20 seconds.
You know, but like it did it, you know, but then you need to have media, and your sponsors want media. So it's kind of a balance of figuring that all out.
But then like your media for the whole year can cost you $3,200, and you're like, you step away from the season and you're like, did it give me $3,200 in value? And like, unless you're RTR that really requires the media, $3,200 in media, you're just like, should I just go to the live stream and pull them off of there?
Right.
You know, so it's such a pulling like subject of how much to spend on like the media, because it's so cool to have good photos, but you're just like so broke at the end of the day.
But even just posting on your story and all that, right? Like even on a weekend when I'm not driving, it's hard just to do Rudy's, let alone now I'm driving and doing it too. And like, you know, like we were really lucky to have Jackson, this kiddo from Utah, who's so talented. And like, I was just like, the second I saw him, I was like, oh dude, you need to just be pushed, like and experience it all. And you guys probably got to meet him.
Oh yeah.
And now he's working for like the blocks this year. And it's just like so cool.
Yeah, that kid rips.
Yeah. And I'm like,
hopefully he doesn't forget who we are.
I'm
talking to you.
His video the other day, like last week, I think he put up of him and Mika just sitting there and editing together into the wee hours of the night. I was like, bro, like 2 years ago you were scared about being an FD. I'm like, now you're making more money than I am, dude. Like, fuck you.
And that's what's so cool, you know. It's like I'm like, I can give you this opportunity. I can't pay you, but I can give you this opportunity, and you're gonna learn a lot from it, you know. So like that was really cool to be able to do that and see him do really well.
Yep.
Yeah, he took the tools and he utilized it. So yeah, I mean,
100%.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's hard because your sponsors will want stuff, but then a lot of times they don't use any of it, and I'm like, dang, I just spent like $1,000 this weekend and nobody used anything.
Yeah, no, it's a tough. I obviously, you know, I come from different positions. Like I do the media, I get it sent to drivers and sponsors and stuff, and then obviously I work for a company that also gets a lot of media from sponsors and drivers and stuff like that. So you're right, like it's tough. Like I've done tons of work for drivers, and then it never sees the light of day. And then obviously like I get stuff in from Link, and then it's like, okay, we have a bunch of this same content at this time, so it's like, do we post it all now, or should we just wait to use it later? I get it. Like it's a hard thing to kind of keep all under wraps and stuff, especially when, like, for example, when like for example, Link wants to do more stuff outside of drifting. So like, okay, so what do you want me to do with the content? Do you want me to post it, or do we want to start just posting other stuff? So it's like there's a whole bunch of reasons for it, but like, yeah, no, I get it all the time. I'll do work for drivers, and
you almost have to do it all. You have to like finish it all the way through posting it to them, because it's so hard to be a driver and like switch, like it's that whole thing of switching your brain back over, right? Like,
oh yeah,
because it can seem like an easy thing, but then 20-30 minutes goes by, you're just doing one little post, you're like,
Right.
and that could have been time that you could have really been resting,
exactly.
Yep.
So it is kind of like you have to kind of go with what the priority of the day is, but I feel like a lot of drivers really just need a person on every team to just manage it.
100%.
So it is hard. Like I feel for drivers who don't have like a spouse or somebody to really help them, because it is a lot. It's tough.
100%. All right. Well, we are at the time of the show where I get asked my favorite question, and it's
okay.
Do you have an Andy Luck story?
Stories?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of rating do you want?
As long as we don't get in trouble telling it, that's all I care about.
Yes.
I want Andy Luck to still like me, so we'll tell you the one we discussed earlier. That's the one. He'll laugh.
We have some good Andy Luck stories. Yeah, the best one was like one time we thought we were in big trouble. What did he say? He was like, how did it start out?
I don't remember how we thought we were in trouble, but it culminated to the end of the story being
I think it was just the way he started this, like telling us about it.
Because you always think you're in trouble with Andy, right? So
Right, yeah.
like, he's already kind of barking at you, maybe a little bit.
Like, oh, I remember what you guys did last year.
Blah, blah,
Like,
Yeah.
and then
folding of the arms.
Turns out, and we were in Atlanta, and I had this girl I met in Medford. She was hired to go to one of the events there to bring the party,
Yeah.
So she's a really fun girl. Well, anyway, she came to Atlanta. She was helping me sell merch. She's very, very, she likes to have a lot of fun. She's really cool.
Yeah.
And she was, stretching, maybe nude in the morning, outside of the RV. Not like
at the
completely
RV door.
naked, I think.
Completely naked at the RV door.
I mean, we were all gone by then.
So we're all down. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, because between 8:30 and 9:30, right? So we'd already get down to the pits. We're kind of getting our stuff cleaned up, and she comes to the door, and she walks to the door, and she's just giving the old double arm stretch at the door, and Andy comes rolling up. Because we're parked on the second level, right next to the media booth and the
yeah. Which he was already mad at us.
He was already a little bit mad at us. But anyway, he went by there, and the whole conversation goes, I think we're just like, he seemed mad, but he really wasn't. And probably wasn't, because he doesn't want to see a girl naked, right? Because she wasn't bad to look at.
Right.
But anyway.
It's not bad right there.
But anyway, it was.
I was totally opposite of what he was thought. I thought he was going to go with. And so that was really funny because
usually
Andy,
you think you're in trouble with Andy.
Yeah. Usually I am in trouble with Andy. I'm like, Andy, it's cool. I'm just. I really messed up, bro. I'm sorry. I call Andy the law.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's accurate.
Yeah, he's like the sheriff,
Yeah,
that's
he's
amazing.
a good sheriff, though. He's got
to deal with everybody. So
yeah,
like I feel his pain because I go to a lot of drift events and I'm a mom, so I understand all of it.
Just got to remember, I guess, to walk by the Hansen pit in Atlanta around 9:30 in the morning.
Nice.
All right, deal. You'll see me and Andy now coming around this year, like looking.
All starts going by every minute.
Yeah, each year the fan base starts growing a little bit more, like trying to take a peek.
Oh,
wild.
That's hilarious. Awesome.
Might have been Sara, you never know.
We got JV Hughes.
Sara, you never know. It could have been you.
JV Hughes said Road Atlanta with Rudy driving the golf cart with all of us hanging off it. Good story.
Yeah, we were doing
Jet?
yeah, we were doing some wheelies with it. We were driving all over the place.
Dustin.
Atlanta is like one of, if people haven't been there, like you need to get a plane ticket, come in. It is the vibes are like I would say Long Beach is like, you can tell it's spring vibes, tank top on, go have some fun. Atlanta's like vibes of just coming to people who love car racing. And everybody there has this soul. Like anybody who loves concerts goes to Red Rocks, and anybody who loves car racing, they bring their truck, they bring their canopy, they bring their cooler, and their whole family comes. It's like the Indy 500 for drifting. You just come hang out with all your homies and just chill out and like
It's nice because
live
it's
your
not
best life.
so hot or whatnot.
Yeah.
You kind of sit on the grass. Or,
Yeah.
It's just a nice vibe, and it's just
We
cool.
have
It's
a lot-
kind of like an amphitheater.
We had a lot
feeling.
of fun there with the golf cart zipping around. We
I
always
like
have, we
Atlanta.
always
I
have
like
fun with the
Atlanta
golf
a
cart.
Drop that baby into neutral and bomb the hills.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's like
Yeah.
Lean.
Yeah.
Oh
They make,
gosh,
you
yeah.
wear, they make you wear a helmet if you're on your dirt bike or any like on your
Yeah.
scooters. That's so funny. You know what, babe? We'll just bring our most ridiculous helmets ever.
Oh boy, we have so much stuff in the trailer though.
Awesome, guys. Well, we have hit past the 2-hour mark, which is all good. But
Great talking to you guys. This
no,
was
it's
an
been
interesting
a fun one. It's all I knew I'd get good stories out of you guys, so I mean I didn't have to do anything. I was just like, all right, talk, and then you just guys kept going.
Honestly, when I thought it was gonna start, I expected, like, for some reason, I expected you guys to not even be in frame, turn on like crazy neon lights, and do like a whole performance. Like that's what I know you guys as.
We were gonna say we're gonna be in the hot tub, but I was like, I don't think I can be in the hot tub that long.
That's so funny. That's on brand. That's on brand.
Yeah, you would definitely. You both would be raisins.
Yeah.
No, we're just boring old people now. We just go to bed.
Whatever, dude.
Go to bed early.
We have a tote in the garage that has a smoke machine, LED lights, like party lights, laser lights, like the whole thing. We've had it at a lot of.
I have a whole costume closet upstairs.
Yeah, a whole closet that's costumes.
You guys,
we know
we're seasoned. We're seasoned, okay?
That's what I mean. That's how I was. I wasn't sure what to expect.
We started drifting because we like to have fun, for sure.
He's probably got a banana hammock on under there.
That's actually Loco Cereal said. Rudy would drive wearing nothing but the hammock. So.
Yeah,
I have.
That. Yes.
I have.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to do a durability test, a little R&D.
I still have to make our reel for this to showcase the banana hammock. I got a good idea for it.
Oh my god!
Let me know when you put. I don't necessarily
you'll know.
want that one to come across my screen, but I'll still giggle.
Speaking of
have you guys seen our Tiger King burnout challenge? When LZ did the burnout challenge.
No.
Oh yes, I did. Wasn't that during
good.
like COVID?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Okay, I saw that.
You won, by the way.
Actually, I hit up Adam during that event, and he's like, "Dude, you won it in the U.S." And then some dude came on who had like a couple million followers from another country, and he like made a post for everybody to vote for him, and they beat us, right? But ultimately, like,
I think we spent more than you would have won, though.
we broke more than we would have won. But that morning, we just woke up, walked up to the costume closet. We had the bunny, threw the bunny on the thing, like pulled all the costumes out of the closet, like came up with it like all on a whim, and created this super rad video. So any of you that are watching, go to our YouTube. We only have like 10 videos, but that video was so much fun.
Shout out your YouTube. Shout out your socials so they can follow along and wait for that banana hammock video.
Yeah.
But you just get, I think, just my name on YouTube, and you.
He's so cute. He probably doesn't even know his YouTube.
No, I don't even know. I don't go. I mean, there's like 10 videos on there. Like
Rudy Hansen.
It is Rudy Hansen.
243 or something.
But we have the Corvette burning to the ground, really sad story, and then we have going to Drift Week 1, which was like kind of an interesting experience, and then we also have on that one the Adam LZ Burnout Challenge, and that was super fun. the cops came to the house because they thought it was on fire.
Oh my
Like-
The
God.
fire department came.
Yeah, it was, and we hid from them, and they're like
There's like
looking at,
pile of rubber,
burning
like,
rubber
this big.
and all sorts
They're
of-
like putting it out.
and we're watching them in the distance, videoing them. And,
Like I can see them on our cameras.
I just put on your tiger burnout video, just the first few seconds.
Yeah.
That woman, she ain't never gonna get my money. And you look just like
that's
him,
when
dude.
the Tiger King video
Yeah, the
came out.
Tiger
You look, yeah, you nailed that, man. Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
we had
Everyone, go
boy
check
was-
it out.
Yeah, go check
Holy
it out. Go check it
it-
out.
You will laugh. Everybody watches
We
that.
literally
It's
put it
hilarious.
together. Yeah, we put the whole skit together right then and there.
Yeah.
Shocking. Shocking.
It was fun.
How high quality that is.
that's
But
funny.
we come up and videoed it, and we had the bike. She had the bunny. Like we had all of the pieces
That
that
was
came
Carol.
together.
That was Carol.
Yep.
Carol
And then
Baskins.
I'm doing the burnout too. We do
Yeah.
dual burnouts.
We do dual burnouts,
Yeah.
and then the police come and we Carol and
We
Blowing the
took-
quarters off.
We left.
we let the cops come and we leave.
We're like,
And then we come back and we look into the corner and they're looking at they're like kicking the pile of rubber burning. They're like thinking what's going on. And then she comes up in costume and is like, I'm Carol. And they start laughing because they've been watching the Burnout King videos and they're all good with it. And it was a good time. It was all good to go. So it was funny. But it's all on the video.
Wow.
That's
actually,
so
if
good.
you look at our house from from Google Images, we have like a whole skid art and
The
stuff.
whole.
All black. It was Burnout. Yeah.
Yeah, one guy, yeah,
Your
really,
house.
really likes to test the cars right there. So.
There we go. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. This has been
Thank
fun.
you.
It's been a good
Yeah, thank
time. Hera, Sara, Herbie, thank you for coming on. Be sure to go check out those guys as well. And if you guys like the stream, always be sure to like and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. And this is a good time. I appreciate it. And next week, I got Simon Olsen on Tuesday. He's
Alright.
coming over to America. And I'm like, hey, it's not 2 a.m. for you. Let's do something.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Love it.